Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare Hare
Baladeva Subhadra Mai Jaya Sudarshana
Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Subhadra Mai Jaya Sudarshana
Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita
Gauranita Jaya Gauranita
Jaya Narsimha Dev Jaya Narsimha Dev
Jaya Narsimha Dev Jaya Narsimha Dev
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
एक निकल दीजिए। Technical team is okay? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhav Jaya Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Jaya Radha Madhav Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Nitai Gaur Haribol 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 जंग विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशिशुमत अभय चरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की ISKCON BBT founder Acharya Divine Grace श्रील प्रभुपाद की जंग विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशिशुमत भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की श्री गौर निताय की समवेत गौर भक्तवृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. What's going on? Huh? Special technology, why? It was not coming? That's it's not, doesn't work regularly or what? Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manabhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Sa Padantikam Vandeham Sri Gura Shri Juta Padakamalang Shri Gurung Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupang Sagrajatang Sahagana Raghunathan Nitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanitangscha Namong Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhu bhaevasya patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha namo mahavadannaya krishna prema pradayate krishnaya krishna chaitanya namne gauratishe namaha he krishna karuna sindhu Deenabandha Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Savhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karati Vachalam Panghur Langhaite Giring Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishtam. It's fixed technically, so you can start. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone for the Sunday. Not today Bhagavatam class, today Chaitanya Charitamrita discussion. So we'll have a discussion from conversation between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai, the part 2. Generally we talk about the part 1 of the discussion. So here Mahaprabhu is asking questions regarding different aspects of devotional service, and Ramananda Rai is giving the answer. So very interesting. So it is from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 8, and we'll be covering from verse number 245 till 257. Request all the devotees to switch off their mobile or put the mobile in silent mode, if you don't mind. Otherwise, a lot of musical performance will start in between. The first aspect Mahaprabhu is asking about education. Mahaprabhu is asking what is the most important education. So we'll try to chant the verses to get the blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Are you ready to repeat? प्रभु कहे कौन विद्या विद्या मध्य सार, राय कहे कृष्ण भक्ति बिना विद्या नहीं यार। प्रभु कहे कौन विद्या विद्या मध्य सार, राय कहे कृष्ण भक्ति बिना विद्या नहीं यार। प्रभु कहे कौन विद्या विद्या मध्य सार, राय कहे कृष्ण भक्ति बिना विद्या नहीं यार। So we can repeat from this side one devotee and from this side another devotee. Ready? No? This side. Translation. On one occasion, the Lord inquired of all types of education, which is the most important. Ramananda Rai replied, no education is important other than the transcendental devotional service of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport is writing different levels of education. Material education, which is known as Jara Vidya, then Brahma Vidya, then Vishnu Bhakti, then Krishna Bhakti. So 4 levels. So generally when we talk about education, generally our idea is limited to the education of this material world. So that education is important, but is not going to help us to achieve the real purpose of our life. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, what is the purpose of studying Vedas? He says, Vedasya sarver ahumeva vedya. The purpose of all study, education is to know Krishna. If you don't know Krishna, if you are not able to understand Krishna through our education, so that education loses its purpose. So generally what is the purpose of education? To know, knowing, knowledge. So what is knowledge? That is also very difficult subject matter for people in this world nowadays to understand. For them, knowledge means some information of this world. That is the meaning of knowledge. Oh, he's having a lot of knowledge. Means he's the storehouse of all information. But for that, we don't need any person nowadays. Any information, search Google. Right? That is the purpose of education, knowing some information. That is not the real purpose of education. Even early days, whether now it is taught or not, the character building was the purpose of education. Not in Gurukul, even the normal education system, that was talked about, but now it is not talked about at all. So we used to hear, if money is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. But if character is lost, everything is lost. We used to hear, not heard. We used to be bombarded by that. Very powerful message from the parents, teachers, elders. But nowadays, that is not the talk. And even if they talk, the whole talk has become reversed. Nowadays, the principle is if character is lost, nothing is lost. Forget about it. What character? Then, if health is lost, something is lost. But the real purpose of life is, if money is lost, everything is lost. So that is education nowadays. Education means money. But here, Ramananda Rai is trying to make us understand real education. And he is telling, Krishna Bhakti Bina Vidya Nahi Yaar. There is no education other than Krishna Bhakti. So Prabhupada is fantastic, he is trying to explain in a very fantastic way. And he is telling, first is material education, which is known as Jara Vidya. Then Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya means to know about Brahman. Who is a Brahmana? Who knows Brahman. Generally in Vedic culture, Brahmanas are really considered to be intellectuals, intelligent persons. Why? Because they know Brahman. So it is said, the birth in this material world is not so, what I can say, is not a very significant thing. So we all take birth in this material world. So it is said, Janmana Jayate Sudra, Sangaskarat Bhaved Dija, Veda Patat Bhaved Vipra, Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. So generally our birth in this world is in the mode of ignorance. Then we take rebirth. Human life begins with the second birth. So first birth, the biological father and mother are our source. Then we take second birth. Then spiritual master becomes the father. And Vedas, Gayatri Mantra becomes the mother. Then we take second birth. What is the purpose of second birth? Study Vedas. So who takes second birth, he is known as Dija. And who studies Vedas, he is known as Vipra. Then why people study Vedas? To know Brahman. So Brahma Janatiti Brahmana. So Brahmana means who knows Brahman, not who wears the sacred thread. He is not a Brahmana. It's an external thing. Anybody can buy, Prabhupada said, a sacred thread and put. But that is not the meaning of Brahmana. So Brahmana means who knows Brahman. But Brahman, absolute truth, is also understood at three different levels according to Srimad Bhagavatam. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti sabdate. So who knows the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth? He is also Brahma. He is also Brahmin, but he is Jnani Brahmana. Because he only knows the impersonal aspect. And who knows the super soul, the Paramatma aspect of the absolute truth? He is known as a Yogi Brahmana. And who knows the Bhagavan aspect of the absolute truth? He is known as Vaishnava Brahmana. So therefore, Vaishnava is automatically a Brahmana. But Brahmana may not be a Vaishnava. That is the understanding. So when we talk about Brahmana, so generally when we talk about Brahman, that is the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth. That is a common understanding of this world. So that's why Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya means who knows the impersonal aspects of the absolute truth. So by having Brahma, if you have material education, we will stay in this material world. You have to continue your journey in this world, birth, death, old age and disease. That is the result of Jara Vidya. So Brahma Vidya, what is the result of Brahma Vidya? We can go out of the material world, we can get mukti, but we cannot enter into the spiritual world. It's in between. Brahma Jyoti is between material world and spiritual world. So by Brahma Vidya, we get Sayujya Mukti, or entering into the impersonal effulgence of the Supreme Lord. That is the result of Brahma Vidya. Then Vishnu Bhakti. So when we render devotional service to Lord Vishnu, then we are eligible to enter into Vaikuntha planet. That is known as Vishnu Bhakti. And superior to Vishnu Bhakti is Krishna Bhakti, because when we do Krishna Bhakti, we enter into Golok. And Golok also has 3 levels: Dwarka, Mathura, and Vrindavan. And that Vrindavan is the topmost. So when we have Krishna Bhakti in the mood of the Brajavasis, we enter into Golok Vrindavan. So actually, the topmost planet is not Golok, it is known as Krishna Loka, according to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Loka. Goloka is topmost. So beyond Vaikuntha is Krishna Loka, where Krishna performs his pastime. And Vaikuntha, Vishnu performs his pastime. But Krishna also has 3 levels of pastimes. He performs his pastime in Dwarka, then Mathura, then Vrindavan. So Vrindavan is known as Gokul or Golok. So Golok has 2 chambers. Outer chamber is known as Navadip or Setadip, and inner chamber is known as Gokul or Goloka Vrindavan. So that is different levels of spiritual world. So and different levels of material creation. So by Brahma Vidya, we can go out of the material world but cannot enter into the spiritual world. But by Jara Vidya, we stay within the material world. We can go up to Brahma Loka, not beyond that. So Srimad Bhagavatam also explains what is the meaning of Vidya. Prahlad Maharaj is teaching. Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu smaranam pada sevanam archanam vandanam dasham sakham atmanivedanam iti pungsharpita Vishnus bhaktischan lavalakshana kriyate bhagavati adha tanmanne aditam uttamam. According to Prahlad Maharaj, this is topmost education, performing the 9 processes of devotional service, beginning with Shravanam and Kirtanam. So 9 processes of devotional service is the topmost. That is also explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is explained, Bhajaner Madhya Shreshta Navavida Bhakti. Bhajan means the process to attain Krishna. So Bhajaner Madhya Shreshta Navavida Bhakti. Navavida Bhakti means 9 processes of devotional service. Why it is topmost? It has the potency. Krishna Bhakti, it has the potency to give Krishna Bhakti and Krishna. Not Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem, Krishna Dite Dhare Mahashakti. তার মধ্যে সর্বশ্রেষ্ঠ নাম সংকীর্তন নিরাপরাধে নাম লইলে পাই প্রেমধন. So it is explained that if we perform Navavida Bhakti, the 9 processes of devotional service, then what will happen? It will give Krishna and Krishna Prema. That is the potency. It has a great potency to deliver that. তার মধ্যে সর্বশ্রেষ্ঠ নাম সংকীর্তন. And out of this 9, there is another topmost process, the supermost process, that is Nam Sankirtan. Why? Niraparade Nam Loile Pai Premadhan. If we chant the holy name of the Lord without any offense, we can attain Krishna Prema. So that is explained here, that Navavidha Bhakti is topmost education. Then what Bhagavad Gita says about education? Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini sunichaiva sapakecha pandita samadasrina. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater. So this is the symptom of education. So if someone is educated, someone is learned, what is the symptom of that person? He becomes very humble. Humility is a symptom of educated person. Just like if the tree have lot of fruits, what will happen? It will bend down. And if the tree has no fruit, it goes up very high, too high, but no fruits. So also it is an empty vessel sounds much. So if the vessel is very empty, then it will make a lot of sound. That's why in this world also, those who not have no real knowledge, they talk so much. They talk so much. So that's why if we want to receive proper knowledge, we have to keep our mouth shut. Right? That is the symptom of a disciple. That is the symptom of a student. Arjuna was talking too much before Krishna started speaking, right? And he was giving a lot of fantastic ideas. People have a lot of ideas. But these ideas really don't work. But they have ideas. And Arjuna was giving a lot of ideas to Krishna, why he should not fight. But if you read those, it's really intelligent proposals. But ultimately, after speaking, Arjuna became confused. He started thinking, what I am giving a lot of good arguments, but it's not working for me. I am bewildered, I am confused, I don't know what to do. I am in dharma sankat. Then what he did? He kept quiet. He said that I will not talk anymore. So you are my spiritual master. He is telling Krishna, there is no friendship relationship now, and I want to take your instructions. When Arjuna surrendered and kept quiet, then Krishna started speaking. And when Krishna started speaking, it was heavy talk. He chastised Arjuna. He said, you are talking like a learned person, but you are a number one fool. Asochan anna sochastang praggabadang sabhasache. Gatasuna gatasungcha nanu sachanti panditaha. So that is the quality of a disciple when someone accepts the chastisement of the spiritual master. For that we have to keep our mouth shut. But if we don't want to have knowledge, then we can keep on talking. So this is very, very important principle. So here Krishna is revealing real education, and that is called spiritual vision. We can see things. When we can see things, when we have spiritual vision. So when you have spiritual vision, we can see everyone equally, because we can see the soul within. But if we don't have that vision, we can see the body. That's why if we see the body only, then we'll see what? A brahmana, a cow, elephant, dog, different. But when we have the spiritual vision, we will not see the external body. We can see beyond that body. And that is the spirit soul. That is the real purpose of education. See things, the truth will be revealed. So I'm thinking that we should have some question in between, otherwise we'll forget, or we'll take questions later on. Audience is little big for interaction, but what to do? What do you think? You want to ask question later on, or you want to ask question for each topic? Huh? Better? Okay, that is the agreement, so no problem. So cordless mic, if you have any question, you can ask. I need some volunteer to make sure that whoever is raising hand get the mic to speak on.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. This 5.19 from Bhagavad Gita says like seeing everyone through the Paramatma aspect of, as equal. Just like at the workplace, like we see like so much selfish people, like they, like for their own benefit, even sacrificing the career of other people, or very cunning nature. Like see from the outside, they appear very smiling and to everyone very jovially, but like they do damage to the other people. So how do we treat such people? Especially, one thing is for me, I feel like better stay away. Staying away is one thing, but as Krishna actually kind of attacked Arjuna's ignorance in that case, like, is there anything we can really do, or?
What's your question? Please define it properly.
My question is like, how do we face such scenarios or such people, and do we really need
Which
to teach?
people? Those who are cunning.
Yes.
So people. Okay. How
do we see them as equal to everyone? Like because the vision is that we see everyone equally.
My first question is that are we that position?
Yes, Maharaj.
That's the first point. That's why Prabhupada said charity begins at home. That is the problem. We think how people will act. But first we have to think where we are. Are we having the spiritual vision, or are you having material vision? Are we simple Vaishnavas, or we are also cunning? We think that whole world is cunning except myself, but opposite can be true also. So first we have to know what is our position. And this is highly elevated position. So we take it very simply, I can see equally. Why I am not able to see equally? Because people are cunning. Our spiritual vision does not depend on the cunningness of this world. Our spiritual vision depends on our spiritual practice. So how we'll interact with the people, that intelligence will be given by Krishna when you are Krishna conscious. And everything is given in the Shastra, how to deal with the people. A Madhyamadikari is a lover of Krishna. He is very friendly with the devotees, very compassionate to the ignorant, and he carefully avoids the association of the envious people. Everything is given. So those who are cunning, envious, you should avoid them. So it's very, very simple. But problem is that we are not taking it simply, because we are not at that platform. So spiritual vision has to be established, because the purpose of our life is not to deal with the cunning people. The purpose of our life is to attain love of Godhead and enter into the spiritual world. So dealing with the cunning people is the problem. We have to deal with that. But that is not the goal of life. So my goal of life is to know how to deal with the cunning people. How to solve the problem of this world. Because there is no goal, that's why problem solving becomes the goal of life. Right? That is the whole world now. How to solve the problems. And if there is no problem, people become frustrated. Where is the problem? Too peaceful. Right or wrong? So people want problems. That's why problems are there. If you don't want problems, then that place is also available. So first we have to think what we want. And accordingly, Krishna will reciprocate. Next. Okay, somebody has to volunteer. So who is coordinating the raising hand and handing over the mic? Okay.
Maharaj, I have a question. In the name of modern education, nowadays they give more preference to the, skill building and more on the technical part. But as you said, characteristic is not being thought, given importance to building our characteristics. So we are very fortunate under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada. We have got this knowledge, but outside world is still lagging back. So how can we, I feel very bad for the others. So how can we help them or help ourselves too?
Help ourselves?
Help ourselves in the sense to help them.
So Mahaprabhu wanted first we should help ourselves. That is the first. Janma sarthak kari karo paro upakar. First we have to make our life successful. So when it's outside world, sometimes I become confused. What is outside? What is the meaning of outside? Just curious. What is the meaning of outside? Can you explain?
Outside in the sense now the schools and
what
colleges.
Is inside, what is outside? So you said outside, and just to make it clear, what is outside, what is inside?
So outside here I understand as like the material education. And
no, you said the outside people, you said.
Means out
so
of devotion, Maharaj.
Okay. Those who are out of the world of devotional service.
Yes,
okay.
yes, Maharaj.
No problem. Because whole material world is outside world. Inside world is the spiritual world.
Yes, Maharaj.
That's the point. We are all in the outside world.
Outside world.
But we don't think like that. We think that we are liberated already. And they are in Maya. So we are all in Maya.
We all.
That's why we are here. So humility is very, very important. Otherwise we cannot help people. So quality of humility is very much essential in order to help people. So education means we have to be humble. But what happens in the name of spirituality, we become very proud. We think we are the deliverer of the whole world. Prabhupada never thought like that. Acharyas never thought like that. They thought that the insignificant insect. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is still thinking that I am the insect in the stool. That is the real education. Make people humble. What is the problem in this world? Pride. Why people are not happy? Why people are not able to learn? Why people are not able to serve? Because of the same problem, pride. And pride comes from ignorance. We may be very educated, but so-called education does not give us real knowledge. So we are in ignorance because we don't know who we are. That's why Sanatana Goswami, when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said that people treat me as a very learned person. He was really learned, but he was talking the situation of this world. He said, people think that I know this much, this thing, that thing. He used to know so many languages. He was having so much education. He used to know Shastra also. But he said, I know so much, and people also think I know so much, but I don't know who am I. That was his first question. Amike, who am I? So that's that, because that question is the fundamental question, Athata Brahma Jigyasa. If we get answer to that question, then we will naturally become humble. Because the answer is that we are the spirit soul. We are the servant of Krishna, and what is the size of the spirit soul? 1/10,000 part of the tip of the hair. What a mathematics. So have you ever heard before that the tip of the hair can be divided? And also 10,000 parts. So we are big or small? Very insignificant. How many souls are there in this creation? You should know the word, unlimited. Countless number of living entities floating around. And what to talk about unlimited living entities, unlimited universes coming from the breathing of Mahavishnu. So when he breathes out, unlimited universes come out. And when he breathes in, unlimited universe enter into his body. And in that body, we are all sleeping. So we are very significant, very insignificant. And Mahavishnu is coming from Mahasankarshan. Mahasankarshan is coming from who? Narayan. Narayan is coming from who? Mul Sankarshan. Sankarshan is coming from who? Balaram. Balaram comes from who? Krishna. So what is the position of Krishna? So how insignificant we are. But still we are thinking we are very significant. Why? Because of the pride. So how to handle? So your question, please repeat again. I am sorry, I went to a different direction.
Maharaj, the question is that, as I was saying, now the modern education is not teaching the reality of life, in the sense, the spiritual education. So how can they be enlightened, or how we can be an instrument, or that's my question.
That's why Prabhupada said, I established International Society for Krishna Consciousness to impart spiritual education. That is the purpose of ISKCON. ISKCON has been established by Srila Prabhupada to provide spiritual education to the society at large. Because there are thousands and millions of schools, colleges, and universities, those who are imparting material education. There is no scarcity of that. But the real scarcity is spiritual education. That's why Prabhupada established ISKCON. So our duty is to receive that education and also distribute that education. And that is the purpose of ISKCON. So Veda says we have Vidya, Avidya, both are needed. So when you have these two tracks, then we get liberated. But the problem and defect in the modern education is that they are only focusing on material education. But they are not giving spiritual part of the education. If that is given, then it will become complete. Because material education will deal with the material world only. But the purpose of life is to get out of the material world. For that we need spiritual education. Okay? But we should not think that material education is not needed. That is also needed because we have to live in this world. Okay? So you should spread the message to the people. Then Krishna will be very pleased. Don't switch off the mic. It's very difficult to put it on, looks like. Huh?
Is Sharanagati means Mansa Vacha Karmana?
I am not discussing about Sharanagati. You should ask question what we discussed. So I discussed about education. You have any question related to that topic? So you should ask whatever is discussed.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So we heard that education is not only information, however it is character building. So for children, from a parent's perspective, how should we or when is the right time to inculcate this character building, Maharaj?
At the age of 5, Prahlad Maharaj says, Kaumarang acharet pragya. The process of character building starts at the age of 5. Skills are needed, along with that character building is also very important. Both should go. If you have only skills, no character, then you will misuse the skills. That is the problem. That's a character, if you have a character, then you will use the skills properly for the benefit of others. Otherwise, if you don't have character, then you will misuse those skills and create disturbance for others. That's what Hiranyakasipu did. He had a lot of skills. What did he do? He did not use it for the service of the humanity. He was using it to harass the people, disturb the people. And that will happen. It will not be properly used. So that's why character is very, very important. That's why in Vedic system, the disciple was checked by the guru. And according to his character, he used to give knowledge. Okay?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just now you said that Prabhupada is telling us to impart this spiritual knowledge within the people in general. But when we are actually trying to educate others through now, maybe by online classes or anything, so sometimes I feel that I am doing something wrong, like because some things I'm unable to follow, but still I'm preaching that. Like when we say you should chant with full concentration, but that is not happening for me, but still I'm telling others to do that. Or there are so many in such relevant points where I feel that, is it that because I'm not able to follow what I'm saying, I should not preach? Or when will that completeness come that I can start telling others to do something so that which I am also following to the complete extent?
Yeah, very good question. That's why it is at first Achar, then Prachar. So who can be a teacher? Who follows what he teaches. That's why he is known as Acharya, who teaches by example. For example, if a father smokes cigarettes and tell his son that don't follow me, follow my instructions, doesn't work. So sometimes parents ask questions. I think children are not here, right? Okay, good. So parents ask question, how I can make my or our children Krishna conscious? I say, first you become Krishna conscious. If we become Krishna conscious, then our children will become inspired to become Krishna conscious. But the problem is that we want to deliver the whole world except myself. We are so compassionate. So one mother came to a sadhu with her child. And her son was not listening to her because he was taking too many sweets. And doctor said, stop taking sweets. But she was not following. So he thought better if sadhu says, then he may follow. So he brought her son to a sadhu and tell the sadhu, please tell him to stop taking sweets. So sadhu said, come after 1 month. So after 1 month, again she went to the sadhu and sadhu said, my dear son, please don't take sweets. Mother said, you should have told that 1 month before. Simple thing. He said, it is very simple, but when you brought your son, that time I was also taking sweets. So I practiced not to take sweets for 1 month. Then I am eligible to tell him not to take sweets. So that's why Achar is very, very important. That's why Prabhupada said, anybody can preach, but you should preach according to your level. Anybody can preach. Even a small child can also preach. If Prabhupada said, if she or he accepts Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can tell, yes, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because he knows that, accepts that. That much you can preach. So preaching has different levels. You should not think that preaching is a simple thing. Teacher, just like you can be a teacher in a primary school, you can be a teacher in secondary school, you can be a teacher in higher secondary school, you can be a teacher in colleges, universities, PhD institutes, different levels of teaching. Preaching also has different levels. Just like a preacher, he can preach to his friends, relatives, family members, one kind of preaching. Prabhupada said, preacher is like a bird. Some bird can fly from one tree to another tree, branch of one tree to another tree. In that way, a preacher also can preach. Some birds are there. They can fly from one village to another village, one town to another town. Some birds are there, they can fly from one state to another state, one country to another country, one continent to another continent. And there are some special birds, they can fly to other planets also. So preachers are like that. Different levels of preaching. But the principle remains the same. What you preach, practice. Otherwise, preaching will not have results. it will be a transformer, only sending transfer of information. That is not preaching. Just like we are very enthusiastic to distribute books. But if someone asks any question, what is there in the books? He said, I don't know, but you should know. So Prabhupada said, we are not booksellers, we are book distributors. So how we can distribute books? When we read books. So first duty is to read the books before you distribute. So that is the principle Prabhupada has taught us. And that is the Siddhanta coming from Shastra. Okay? Details can be worked out.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. You told spiritual knowledge should be given to children from the age of 5.
I never said, Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj said.
Yeah.
I am following what,
That's what.
it was very dangerous to tell our thing.
Yes.
Okay.
But at that age, it is difficult to make them understand the spirituality. What is the procedure we have to follow?
Really, I thought that children are better recipient of spiritual knowledge than the adults. They pick up spirituality much faster than the adults. If you want to see examples, there are many examples. It's not a right idea that at the age of 5 they will not be able to understand. They will understand much better. Okay? But we don't have confidence. That is the main problem. So they have confidence. They can learn. Prahlad Maharaj is teaching, same principle works. This side. Okay. So you can go to the second portion. Okay. How to?
When they come to the teenage or like they're in the school, it is okay. Once they come to the college level or like that.
School level is also not okay.
Okay, you can manage.
For you maybe it's okay, but now new generation is not okay. First, you have to make sure that they are in KC. We think they are in KC, but they are not. And we think they have gone out of the KC, but they are never in KC. We think like that. So we have to give proper Krishna consciousness. If they become Krishna consciousness, it's very difficult to give it up. So Krishna consciousness is not some change of lifestyle, change of certain aspect of life. That is not Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and accepting ourselves as a servant of Krishna. If someone accepts that, he is Krishna conscious. But we think he learns some slokas, he chants some rounds, goes to the temple, plays some mridanga and plays some music, he is Krishna conscious. Also, but that's not a real symptom of Krishna consciousness. That is external. So internal Krishna consciousness, if it is established within, it's very difficult to give it up. But yes, whatever you are telling is correct. So the teenagers, they want to have some different experience. And they don't find it in Krishna consciousness, so that's why they find somewhere else. So that's why Krishna consciousness is not information and some rituals. They have to have the experience of Krishna consciousness. So it is the duty of the parents to give that Krishna conscious experience. And when they will have that experience, true experience of joy in Krishna consciousness, they will be stick to Krishna consciousness. So that is the principle. So anything you do in this world, in Kali Yuga, is difficult. So bringing children in Krishna consciousness is also very difficult. Nothing comes easy. Mike.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, one question from my end. When we are taking the material education, because when we are when we are working, we have to naturally acquire some knowledge also. So for our working, and when we are when we are practicing this spiritual, like Krishna consciousness, we have to learn from the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and also. So how we have to balance these two? Because one side we are learning the material education also to do our working environment, and one side we have to learn our spirituality also. How we have to balance these two?
Balance means what?
In the sense, how we can, because one side we will be reading all the material knowledge also for our working environment. And here we are learning the spirituality also. So when we come to Krishna temple and all, we will be learning all this one. But once we go out, we have to work and
So when you are working, you should use your material education. When you are in spiritual practice, apply your spiritual education. What is the problem?
Okay, Maharaj.
Now, what's the point of balance? Means what?
No, sometimes I feel that we are learning what is required for my bodily maintenance only.
Yeah, you should apply that because you have to earn money to earn your livelihood. Apply that education.
Yes, yes, Maharaj.
And when you are practicing Krishna consciousness, apply your spiritual knowledge. What is the problem? I want to know really.
Sometimes it will be a conflict of my mind whether we have to learn all these things in the
That you
materials.
ask, that's not balance. You have a question whether I should practice spirituality or not.
No, spirituality is very much essential.
Then what is
That
your
not-
question? What is the question?
It is how, means material education is also required for our bodily maintenance.
Yes, not also, is required.
Required. Yes, yes, Maharaj. Thank you. That's what.
No, if you are not clear.
Sometimes I will be thinking like this. Why we have to learn this material also? Because unnecessarily my mind is getting deviated also. No? That's why.
No, if you understand this world, you should have education or knowledge of this world.
Yes, yes.
Right?
Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj.
If you want to go from Bangalore to Bombay, you have to know where is Bombay, how to go to Bombay. If you don't know, oh, I know, I am the spirit soul. That's called, what I can say, this is called sentimentalism. Okay?
Thank you.
Just now you mentioned that people would like to experience joy. Could you help us understand what is this trying to experience joy? On what plane is it? Is it on the gross plane? Is it on the subtle plane? Is it on the mental plane? Is it on the heart plane? It will help us to understand how to perceive this particular paradigm.
So joy is experience at the level of soul. There are three levels of identity we have. We have gross identity, subtle identity and spiritual identity. So gross identity is the experience of the sense enjoyment. I don't have to explain that. That's very common, right? It's called sense enjoyment. Then mind means mental peace, equilibrium, stability. That is the experience of the mind. Ananda, the joy, is the experience of the soul. So when the soul is connected with the Supreme Lord, so that soul experiences the joy of Krishna consciousness. Connection. So that connection gives us a joy. You are discussing yesterday also. So what is the meaning of that joy? When you get that joy, you will understand. It's an experience. If I say I am experiencing, it doesn't mean anything to somebody, right? Somebody asked Prabhupada, have you seen God? He said, if I have seen God, what's a big deal to you? You are not able to see that. So if I say I am experiencing joy of Krishna consciousness, so I cannot give that, it's not a product that I'll give you. It has to be experienced. And the process is given, connection. When the soul is connected with the Supreme Lord, that joy will be experienced. So that is, when I'm talking about joy, I'm talking about the joy of the soul, the spiritual experience of the soul.
Can we define it in these three terms? Bhogonmukhi, Mokshonmukhi and Bhakti-unmukhi?
Yeah, that you can say.
Okay.
Bhakti-unmukhi, Ananda is called joy. Next, I think we should go to the next topic, not to the next question. The most glorious activity. So question is continuing. কীর্তি গণমধ্যে জীবের কোন বড় কীর্তি কৃষ্ণ ভক্ত বলিয়া যাহার হয় খ্যাতি Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asked Ramananda Rai, out of all glorious activities, which is the most glorious? Ramananda Rai replied, that person who is reputed to be a devotee of Lord Krishna enjoys the utmost fame and glory. So what is the most glorious position? Because we are all after position in this world, right? I want some position. I want to be the CEO, I want to be the managing director, I want to be the temple president, right? I want to be the yatra leader, I want to be the Bhakti Vriksha leader, I want to be this, I want to be that. So here Ramananda Rai is not telling all this. He is telling what is the most glorious position? Krishna Bhakta. I am the devotee of Krishna. That is the most glorious position. Why? We should really analyze this. So in this world, we also get positions, and most of the people in this world are involved in karma. Some people are involved in jnana, and very rare people are involved in bhakti. In this age of Kali, the fame of one who is known as a great devotee is very rare. However, such a position is superior to that of great demigods like Brahma and Mahadev. This is the opinion of all spiritual masters. So positions, king, the highest position in this world. King is glorified only in his kingdom. If you out of your kingdom, who cares which king you are? Right? So Brahma also was thinking that he is really the head of the universe. So he came to meet Krishna in Dwarka. And doorkeeper stopped. What an insult, right? If you are a VIP and if you are stopped in the main door, how will you feel? You know who am I? And I saw people also in our community. If someone is very reputed and if someone stops, security guard stops, he becomes very disturbed. How come you are stopping me? You don't know who am I? So it happened to Brahma also. Brahma said, you stopped me, you don't know who am I am Brahma. Then, okay, I have to check with my master. So guard went to Krishna, he said, one person came, his name is Brahma. He said, check with him, which Brahma? So he came back, he said, which Brahma are you? So which Brahma? I am the only Brahma. Then it was clarified that he is four-headed Brahma. He said, call him. So he came in and he saw there's a conference going on, board of directors of the material world. So all the Brahmas came. And he saw some Brahma having 8 heads, 16 heads, 32 heads, 64 heads, 100 heads, 1,000 heads. And it is also 10,000 heads, 100,000 heads. And people, when they hear that, their head spins. He said, one head is enough for us. Too much headache in one head, right? So then that Brahma became very humble. Because our Brahma is the Brahma of the smallest universe. We live in the smallest universe, where Brahma has only 4 heads. Because he doesn't have, it's a good management, no? So manager means he has to see you in all directions. But if you want to see, you have to do like this, and you cannot see what is going on at the back. But Brahma doesn't have to do all these things because Brahma can see in all 4 directions. This is the purpose of 4 heads. So coming to the point that king is glorified only in his own kingdom. But a learned scholar, Brahmana, is glorified in all the places in this world. The whole world is his kingdom. And Vaishnava, whole creation is his kingdom. Evajas Ghusuk Tribhuvana. A Vaishnava is glorified in every place. So therefore, a Vaishnava is the topmost position. So what do you think about that? So big journey of Narad Muni to figure it out. Who is the greatest devotee? It is from Sanatana Goswami's famous book. You know that book? Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Very interesting book Sanatana Goswami wrote. So Narad Muni wanted to know who is the greatest devotee. So his journey began in North India, Prayag. So there was a Brahmana who was worshipping his saligram, offering food and distributing prasadam. He was a wonderful devotee of the Lord. And Narad Muni went to him and started glorifying that. You are the greatest devotee. He said, me, the greatest devotee? I am not the greatest devotee. If you want to know who is a great devotee, go to South India. So Narad Muni's journey from South India, North India to South India. In South India there was a king, pious king. And he was very, very charitable. He was constantly rendering service to the sages and most wonderful and opulent service of the Lord. And Narad Muni went to him and started glorifying him. Then he said, you are the greatest devotee. He said, me? I am the king of a simple place, South India. If you want to know who is a devotee, go to Sargaloka, Indra. Indra is the greatest devotee. Then Narad Muni started glorifying Indra. Then Indra said, I am not a great devotee. In one day of Brahma, 14 Indras appear. Okay? If you want to know who is great, go to Brahma. Brahma is the great person. He is the great devotee of the Lord. Then Brahma said, I am not a great devotee. If you want to know who is a great devotee, go to Lord Shiva. He is the great devotee. So Narad Muni went to Lord Shiva, glorifying. Then Lord Shiva says, I am not a great devotee. If you want to know who is a great devotee, go to the lower planetary system. Prahlad. Prahlad is the great devotee. So from here, the real journey begins. Prahlad Maharaj is really a high-class devotee. Others, they are also great devotee, but Prahlad Maharaj is really the beginning of the real journey of Narad Muni to search for greatest devotee. So Narad Muni was glorifying Prahlad, and you know Prahlad, such a simple and wonderful devotee he is. Then when Prahlad heard Narad Muni's glorification, he said, I am not a great devotee. If you want to know who is a great devotee, go to Hanuman. So what is the greatness of Prahlad? When Hiranyakashipu was killed, that time Nrsimhadev was in extreme anger. And people are scared, all the demigods are scared. And they wanted to bring his anger down. Very scary. They said, you go, nobody wants to go. And they tell Lakshmiji, you should go, your husband. He said, me? I never saw such a ferocious mood of my husband. I don't want to go. So who will go? Prahlad. Prahlad, because of you, Nrsimhadev came. So therefore, you have to go. He said, no problem. So Prahlad, when Nrsimhadev saw Prahlad, he became so happy. He wanted to embrace. And he was licking also Prahlad's body. And he started thinking that I am feeling so much happy by putting Prahlad on my lap. But what Prahlad is experiencing, I don't understand. So that is the mood. Then from next incarnation, the Lord started accepting the parents to appear. Because for Nrsimhadev, who was a parent? Pillar. So from next incarnation, he came as Vamanadev. So that mood was there when he was putting Prahlad on his lap. Such a wonderful devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. But Prahlad Maharaj said, Hanuman is the great devotee. So you all know that Hanuman is in the mood of Dashyam. So Hanuman is a great devotee of Lord Ram. How dear he is to Lord Ram? You have any idea? So a simple pastime will explain how dear Hanuman is. So Hanuman, when Ram was in Ayodhya, he came to know there is a book prepared by Lord Ram, where all the names of his devotees who remember him all the time, those names are mentioned in that book. The devotees who remember Lord Ram all the time. So Hanuman thought, the devotee list, let me check whether my name is there or not. It's always have a tendency, no? So when some devotees' names are announced, when my name will come, when my name will come. So Hanuman went there to check the book. From the first page, he started checking, going to the last page. His name is not there. So he became little, what you can say, not say disturbed, but said, oh, my name is not there. So Ram could understand. He said, Hanuman, why you are like this? You are not happy today? He said, yes, my Lord, I am not a devotee because my name is not there in my book, in your book. He said, which book you saw? She said that you made a book. That where devotees' names are mentioned, who remember you all the time, serve you so wonderfully. He said, that is the book number 1. There's another book, book number 2. So this book, book number 1, I composed, where I mentioned the names who remember me all the time. But I have made another book where I mentioned those devotees' names whom I remember all the time. Go and check. So he went and he checked from the first page, last page, only one name, Hanuman. So that is the position of Hanuman. Very, very dear to Lord Ram. So then Narad Muni came to Hanuman. He said, you are a great devotee of the Lord. He said, me? I am not a great devotee of the Lord. If you want to know who is a great devotee, you go to the Pandavas. Pandavas are very, very dear to Krishna. So they are the dearmost devotee. So Pandavas are so dear that Krishna came to protect them and Krishna came to establish them and Krishna came to be always with them. Always he always was trying to be with the Pandavas. He used to feel so happy to be with the Pandavas. So how Pandavas are great? They had complete faith that Krishna will protect. But then you may ask that such a great devotees, why they are in so much difficulty? People ask questions, right? If they are so dear, see the life of Prahlad. What a life he had. Terrible life. Sometimes we said we have family problems to chant the holy name. Read the life of Prahlad. You will be motivated. What a hell he had to go through. This is the world of experiencing that kind of stuff. There are different degrees. So Pandavas are also extremely tormented by the Kauravas and other people. So why? Because Krishna wants to see. Krishna generally, when he takes charge of his devotees, when Krishna takes charge of his devotees, when he is fully surrendered. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekang saranang braja aham tang sarva papebhya moksha Swami ma suchaha. So Krishna takes charge of his devotees when that devotee is fully surrendered to him. Full surrender. So Pandavas are like that, but he wants to make sure that Pandavas can face the troubles of this world. So this world, there will be problems, troubles, tribulations, challenges, difficulties. This is the world we live in. But there is a different levels how people respond. That troubles is not going to change. Only the way of responding to those problems will change. That's a very important principle all the devotees should try to understand. For devotees, we should not think there will not be any problem. Rather, more advanced devotees will have more problems. But by that, you don't try to be less advanced. So better to be less advanced, less problems. So that is not the point Krishna is trying to make. So when someone is fully surrendered, does not mean he is fully pure. Fully surrendered devotees also have some impurities, subtle impurities. But Krishna wants to make that devotee fully pure. So how impurities will go away? Putting them into difficulties. Because complacency, comforts of this world attract unearthers. Difficulties purify our consciousness. That's why Lord knows, He is the master. He knows how to purify ourselves. Just like a goldsmith. How goldsmith checks the purity of the gold? By putting the gold into acid, not water. In the same way, the devotees are like the gold. The spiritual master hand over the devotee to the Lord, that he is the pure gold devotee. But Lord is the goldsmith. He has to check the purity of the gold. What he does? Acid. Difficulties. So when devotees are put into difficulties, what will happen? They will be purified. So for those who are sadhakas, what happens to those? They tolerate. Response. I am taking a response. When someone is not a devotee, difficulties come, they react. They cannot tolerate it, right? Intolerable, people say. It's very difficult to tolerate. Intolerable. I cannot tolerate you. Why? Because they are not sadhakas. What is the symptom of a sadhaka? Who can tolerate. Matra sparshastu kvanteyo sitasna sukha dukkhada agama paino anittas tangtesi saksha bharata. Why they can tolerate? Because they have the knowledge. What is the knowledge? Everything is temporary. That is the knowledge. Happiness, they don't become joyful. They don't celebrate the happiness because they know it's not going to stay. And they also don't become disturbed by the distress. Why? That is also temporary. So what they do? क्या वो? चार्ज खत्म हो गया? So what they do? Because of that knowledge of the temporary nature of this material world, they tolerate. So knowledge gives the power of tolerance. And those who do not have that knowledge, they become intolerant. Then sadhaka becomes fully surrendered. For them, what happens if problem comes? What do you think? They will not realize that there is problem. The fully Krishna conscious person does not have any experience of the dukkhas of this world, untouched by the influence of the material nature. He will be untouched. And those who are at the level of prema bhakti, completely perfected devotees, just like the Brajavasis, for them problems will be like the waves of different rasas in their heart. That's the situation of the Brajavasis. For them problems will create different types of rasas of love of Godhead. So that's very top level, but at least we should come to the level where we can tolerate. Right? Tolerating is very, very important. Tolerance. So, Krishna wanted to teach the Pandavas how to tolerate the difficult situation of this world. That's why Krishna personally put them into difficult situation. And they had complete faith that Krishna will protect. Complete faith. And I tell this story again and again to make our faith very strong. Sometimes, not sometimes, many times we also forget that Krishna is the protector. That's why you're in anxiety. Why anxiety? Anxiety means we don't have faith that Krishna is the controller. Krishna is the protector. When we have that faith, where is the question of anxiety? Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tuhara. Why you're in anxiety? Because we think something bad will happen. Why bad will happen? This world is bad. Why bad will happen? We are already in bad situation. What will happen? Maximum what will happen? I used to have a friend in my college days. He was very fearless. He said, what will happen? Maximum death. Are you ready to face death? Then what is the question of fear? In army also, that's the mind training. Why fear? Who can be fearless? When they are not fearful about losing the body. Then they can be fearless. So, but our philosophy is so high, but we are scared of death. Right or wrong? We say again and again, in lecture after lecture, we are not this body, we are not this body. And when there is a question of death, we become so fearful that I have to lose my body. Is any way you have to lose our body? That we become scared. And when we become scared, means we have to take another body. That is the problem. So that's why you have to become fearless. So fearlessness will come when you have confidence, complete confidence that Krishna is my protector. So Arjuna was in that platform, Pandavas were at that platform. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, what a situation, right? I don't think anybody has that kind of experience. Battlefield means you are going to the job, right? Morning job. He said, oh, you have many difficulties in my job. Go to the war field. So that job means you are going means you may not come back. Every day, that is the day, right? Jadgatana nivartante tadhama paramam means that you will not come back. So in that spirit they go. So Pandavas, daytime they fight, evening time celebrations, party. Very happily they are there in the camps. So Kauravas are in anxiety. Why anxiety? Many reasons. One reason is that their leader was Bhishma Pitama. And Bhishma Pitama was very affectionate to the Pandavas, and Duryodhana had no confidence that Pitama Bhishma would kill them. So he used to provoke him. One day, he became enraged by the insult of Duryodhana. He said, tomorrow I'll kill all the Pandavas. So news came to Krishna in the evening time. So Krishna was in anxiety. Leadership means anxiety, but for others, not for ourselves. Anxiety, what to do now? Bhishma Pitama's vow, he took a vow like that. So what to do? What to do? So he thought better to communicate the news to the Pandavas. So he went to the camp of the Pandavas. Pandavas are celebrating, they are happy, and by seeing Krishna, they are more happy. He said, you are so happy, you don't know the news. You don't know Ajka Taja Khabar. How's the news today? He said, you are the source of the news. You should tell us. The news is that tomorrow you will be killed by your dear grandfather, Bhishma Pitama. I said, oh, really? So anyway, every day we go in that spirit only, we will be killed. But you are confirming today. Thank you for the confirmation message. But the glory of your message is that we will be killed by Bhishma Pitama. What a glorious death! We will be killed by Bhishma Pitama. Thank you very much for your wonderful message. See you tomorrow. So more anxiety. What to do with these guys? So he was in anxiety, how to protect. He was in anxiety. So he went to because he doesn't want to break the protocol of this world. That is the beauty of Krishna. So he'll follow all the protocol to protect the Pandavas. So he went to the camp of Draupadi. He said, Draupadi, you have to go now. Where? The camp of Bhishma Pitama. He said, why? He said, don't talk so much. Whatever I say, you just do it. So what to do? You just go and offer obeisance to Bhishma Pitama and ask for blessings. That's it. Simple service. Do it properly. So both of them went to the camp of Bhishma Pitama. Bhishma Pitama saw Krishna with Draupadi at night in my camp. Dal mein kuch kala hai. He devotee knows. So, as instructed by Krishna, Draupadi offered obeisances to Bhishma Pitama, and this is the gesture, culture. The elders give blessings to the juniors. So Bhishma Pitama said, Saubhagyavati Bhava. As soon as he gave that blessing, Krishna started smiling. He said, I heard you took some vow. And Bhishma Pitama understood the desire of Krishna. And in that way, Pandavas were protected. So this is the science of Krishna consciousness. To be in bliss in Krishna consciousness. To be free from anxiety of this material world. Complete confidence that Krishna is going to take care of us wherever we are. So that gives the real joy of life. So Pandavas were like that. That's why Hanuman said Pandavas are the great devotees of Krishna. And when Pandavas are glorified, then they said, we are not devotees. If you want to know what the devotees, go to the Jadus, Jadavas. They are the dearmost devotees of Krishna. Krishna is always with them. So Narad Muni went to the Jadavas, and Jadava said, we are not real devotees. If you want to know who is a devotee, go to Uddhava. Uddhava is the topmost devotee. Actually, it's true. Out of Vrindavan, Uddhava is the topmost devotee. So dear to Krishna, very dear to Krishna. Looks like Krishna also. As soon as someone sees Uddhava, then Krishna is there. Everything looks like Krishna. And Uddhava also used to feel like that, I am a great devotee. Before he went to Vrindavan. Krishna knew that Uddhava thinks he is a great devotee. That's why Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan. And he told the same thing to Narad, that Narad Muni, I am not a great devotee. If you want to know who is a great devotee, go to Vrindavan. Brajabas is at the topmost devotees. So Uddhava, he wanted to be the creeper. He wanted to be the grass of Vrindavan. Why? He wanted to take the dust of the lotus feet of the Brajavasis, mainly the gopis of Vrindavan. So they are the topmost devotees. So how Brajavasis are the topmost devotees? Because their life and soul is for pleasing Krishna. They don't care for anything. Their life is meant for that. And they don't want anything else. That's why everybody wants to serve Krishna, but Krishna wants to serve Brajavasis. Krishna goes to the places where devotees want him to stay, but he wants to stay in Vrindavan. He doesn't want to live in Vrindavan. So intense place, intensity of love. So there is no time today to discuss that, but Brajavasis are the topmost devotees, and out of the Brajavasis, the Braja Gopis are the topmost devotees. And out of the Braja Gopis, Srimati Radharani is the topmost devotee in the whole creation. So in that way, Narad Muni was in search of the greatest devotees, and he could realize that the Brajavasis are the topmost devotees and Gopis of Vrindavan are the topmost devotees. And if we can realize that, our life will become successful. So we'll take some break. Then we'll go to the next. So, how long we have to go? After 12 o'clock? We started a little late, we can go a little late. So how long you like to, your tolerance level? How long you can tolerate the discussion? Now 11 o'clock. 1.5 hours we have discussed. So supposed to be complete by 12 noon. Huh? Wow. Who is the organizer? Temple president? Huh? Temple. Yeah, that I know, but how long that second session will go? Up to 12:30 or? Yeah, question answer is going on in between anyway. So after 12:30, 12:45? Okay. So the temple commander Prabhu is requesting us to have a break for 15 minutes and we will start our discussion again at 11:15. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And next topic is very important topic. Who is the richest personality?
in the hall and occupy your seats. Maharaj has already come, so we'll begin the second part of this session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you have any question from the previous question of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Let all the devotees come, then we can start the next question. We discussed about who is most famous. The devotee of Krishna is the most famous person. So that was the topic. And we also discussed about different levels of devotees. And Narad Muni's search for topmost devotee. So you have any question on this topic? Otherwise, we go to the next question. Mike?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, while discussing about the different levels of sadhakas, devotees, one statement was that sadhakas should respond and not react. But how do we, I mean, with all the conditionings and the nature that we have, how do we practice that, Maharaj? Because obvious spontaneously it is, we react.
Yeah, practice is a process. You have to practice to respond, not to react. Sometimes you will succeed, sometimes you will fail. That is the meaning of practice. It's not perfection will come when you will respond all the time. But the sadhaka level is a level of practice. So you have to practice. So when you practice, slowly, slowly you will become perfect.
In the due course of practice, we might still keep on reacting also, Maharaj.
Yeah. Sometimes you will fail, sometimes you will succeed. But you know that you have failed. But those who are sadhaka, not sadhakas, they don't know they have failed. They say they feel they have succeeded. You understand? So, failing is not a problem. Recognizing the mistake, that is the symptom of a sadhaka. That's why he is sadhaka, no? He'll make mistakes. But he'll learn from the mistake and he'll never repeat that mistake. So that is the point to be noted. Okay? Someone was asking yesterday, how to forget mistakes? I replied that you should not forget mistake because you will repeat the mistake.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So you were telling about when Narad Muni goes to each devotee, they say, okay, I'm not the best devotee. I'll tell you the next, this is the best devotee. How is it that these great devotees are able to say that I'm not the best, but there is someone else who is the greatest devotee? Although they have done so much in service, they themselves.
Yeah.
So how is it that they are able to tell that?
Because that is a symptom of advanced devotee. They think they are not advanced devotees. And those who think they are advanced devotees, they are neophyte devotees. You understand? Kanistha Adhikari devotee thinks everybody is Maya except himself. But Uttama Adhikari devotee thinks everybody is in pure devotional service except him. That is the transcendental consciousness of a devotee who is very, very advanced. It is not artificially done. It is naturally done.
I mean, do they also really mean that, okay, yes, they have so-and-so faults?
Yeah, if you can ask them, they will make a list of faults. That's why they are advanced devotees. And the Kanistha Adhikari, they have also a list of faults of others. There is a difference. List is always there. Okay? Yeah. So I need a volunteer to coordinate. Okay, no problem. Don't feel disturbed, who is raising hand and not getting the mic.
Maharaj, we also saw that when we forget Krishna, anxiety arises. During disturbing situations, whether it is physically, verbally, or within the family or anything, the element of Krishna doesn't come. It's more of that, let me, I can solve that or I can take control of the situation. So how that element of Krishna, how should we again, will that ever come for sadhakas?
What do you think? It will come or it will remain a story only? So that situation will come when you are fully surrendered, not partially surrendered. That Krishna consciousness is a process. So when someone is fully surrendered, then in every situation he will feel and have full confidence that Krishna is the protector. That's why he remains always happy in every situation and continue his devotional service. That is also said in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Who is eligible to enter into the spiritual world? When some devotee who is in difficult situation, he accepts that in a grateful heart and thank God for this difficulty and continue his devotional service. He is eligible to enter into the spiritual world. No complaint. As long as complain, spiritual world is not the place. You can have so many complaints and stay here. Okay? So complaint page has to be wiped out.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Somebody from this side also can coordinate, raising hand if is there.
Yes, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Like you said, you quoted the example of Krishna and Arjuna, how Krishna chastised and Arjuna remained silent. But like generally we see that in Guru and disciple relationship, the relationship will be very beautiful unless or until Guru doesn't find faults. But if Guru, the responsibility of Guru is to find fault with disciple. But because disciple is conditioned, and if he raises his voice against Guru, and if the Guru becomes hurt, then how to progress in such kind of relationship, or how to deal with Guru?
So if you offend the Guru, then your spiritual life will be finished. If you offend Krishna, there is a chance. But if you offend Guru, your spiritual life is in a very dangerous situation. That's why carefully take Guru. Guru is like a fire. If you know how to handle him, then you can cook wonderful prasadam. But if you don't know how to handle him, then you will be burned. So stay at a respectful distance. Fire is like that. Okay? Familiarity is a disease. We should not become familiar. Okay? So you may say, oh, Guru doesn't have fault or what? Everybody has fault. But if you start seeing those faults, even if someone does not have fault, we have the full qualification to find faults in others. We are highly, not expert, we are highly trained to find faults. Okay? This side, no question? Okay. Any other? You raised hand, no? Huh.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have one question, Maharaj. We also hear that Vaishnavana Meta Shambhu, and we hear among all the Vaishnavas, Shiva is the greatest. And also on the other hand, we hear that gopis and they are the best devotees of Krishna. So how to understand this two different statements, Maharaj?
Yeah, that is very simple to understand. That head of primary school, head of high school, head of high secondary school, head of college, head of universities, all are heads, but different levels of heads. So these are always devotees. Also there is some difference. Okay? So rasa of head and level of is called a difference in rasa. Actually, Hanuman, he is best devotee in the mode of servitorship, but Pandavas are higher because they are in friendship. So in that way there are rasa. But in rasa also, in Vrindavan, there are different levels. Rasa in Vrindavan is the topmost. That's why Krishna is complete, but he is complete in Dwarka, more complete in Mathura, most complete in Vrindavan. But he is always complete. So there are different levels of completeness also. So best also is there, but there are different levels of best. Okay? So Brajavasis are the super best. Clear?
Maharaj, you mentioned about the story of Draupadi going to Bhishma Dev and taking blessings. There's another version of Bhishma Dev really created 5 arrows. So can I know what's the origin of the story from your end?
There are different versions. All are true.
No,
so that version is also true.
Okay. No.
Okay.
Yeah. No, in the sense I would like to know if the origin is...
There are different, same pastime spoken in a different way. So sometimes Acharya says because of kalpa bhed, one kalpa one way, other kalpa other way. So both are correct, but we have to learn the lessons from that. Details are not important, principles are most important.
Maharaj, Hare Krishna. So just one clarification with respect to Prahlad Maharaj. So is his mood in the Shanta Bhav then? I mean, we were just seeing the hierarchy or how each one was saying the other and the other. So
yeah.
Up to Prahlad Maharaj, whoever was there, are they all in the Shanta Bhav? No, it's not.
Prahlad is the mood of remembrance, that is primarily Shanta Bhav.
Primarily Shanta Bhav. Thank you.
Okay. This side has many questions. Why? You should do something. So next time, you will be defeated.
So you were telling about how one can tolerate, and that is through knowledge. Knowledge that everything is temporary. What bad can happen, what max. Right? So if that's how even Pandavas are gaining their tolerance, what bad can happen or what...
No, Pandavas are beyond tolerance. They are pure devotees.
Like, so, but... And also,
tolerance is for those who are sadhakas. Pandavas are not sadhakas. They are the Nitya Siddha. They are the topmost devotees. They are fully surrendered souls. They are not sadhakas.
So if they are saying that okay, they are under constant protection.
For them, they have no question of tolerance because they don't have any experience of misery. What the question of tolerance? When you have the experience of misery, then you'll tolerate, na? You understand? So you should read Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. There are different levels. And what is the experience of miseries? Okay?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Very good.
Actually, mine is not a question. I wanted to share something because in this thing you spoke about death, fear of death. So I always think that if we are fearful of death because we are afraid to leave the loved ones here. But if we build up a relationship with the Lord or with Krishna, then we know where we were going. So there will not be fear. So recently I had come across a Christian priest. And he was in the hospital and my mother went to get blessings and then he was talking. He was also very ill and he was saying that now I finished my life. I'm waiting just to go back to God. And I see that the person who ordained me, the person, when he became a priest, the person who ordained me, will be waiting with his arms open to welcome me. So I thought that was something which we also practice in Krishna consciousness, where you think your guru will be there to take you back. So I was just thinking, in a Christian thing, he had that thing, so we also have to build that faith so we won't have fear of death. Because he is whatever he has practiced, he feels he has done his job sincerely. So now he is waiting for death. I have done my job, and so the Lord will have that place for me. And the person who ordained me made me a priest. Probably he followed the whole thing. So he's saying he would be there to welcome me. So I thought that was very beautiful, and I wanted to share it.
Very good.
Thank you.
So you can go to the next question. The richest personality. সম্পত্তির মধ্যে জীবের কোন সম্পত্তি গণি রাধা কৃষ্ণে প্রেম যার সেই বড় ধনী Okay, one more time. সম্পত্তির মধ্যে জীবের কোন সম্পত্তি গণি রাধা কৃষ্ণে প্রেম যার সেই বড় ধনী Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, of the many capitalists who possesses great riches, who is the topmost? Ramananda Rai replied, he who is richest in love for Radha and Krishna is the greatest capitalist. So very revolutionary statement on capitalism. So people are after money and people want to be rich. That is our natural tendency. And it is very wonderful to become rich. But we should become really rich. So there are two kinds of wealth, material wealth and spiritual wealth. So material wealth is temporary and spiritual wealth is permanent. And material wealth is actually owned by Krishna. But bhakti is owned by Jiva. So Radha Krishna Prem is the wealth of the living entity. But other than that, everything belongs to Krishna. Bhaktarang jagadapasang sarvalaka maheshwaram. Suidang sarva bhutanam gattamang santimichyati. Everything belongs to Krishna, except Krishna Prema. So that's why we should have our own bank account, right? We should not use others' bank account. It's not proper. So all other bank accounts belong to Krishna, except the bank account of Krishna Prema belongs to Jiva. That's why Mahaprabhu is asking this question, and Ramananda Rai is talking wonderfully, answering this question. So generally Vedas talk about dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So why people accept the religiosity? Primarily for artha. Money is needed. But that is a beauty of Vedic culture, that if you want to earn money, earn in a religious way. But that is not the belief nowadays. Hook or crook? Paisa chahiye, hai ki nahi? We need money. So, but we should earn money in a dharmic way. Dharma, artha. Why need money? To fulfill our desires, enjoy our life. Then moksha. Then people get frustrated in material enjoyment. Then moksha. Bhukti, mukti. So these are two aspects of material world. People are after sense enjoyment. When they are frustrated in sense enjoyment, they go for mukti, and when they are frustrated in mukti, they come back and enjoy again. This is the journey. Bhukti, mukti are the two parts of the same coin. That's why those who are intelligent, they don't go for bhukti or mukti. Their goal of life is panchama purushartha, the love of Godhead, the fifth goal. The real goal of life is to attain love of Godhead. So by karma we get bhukti, by jnana we get mukti. And by bhakti, what do you get? We get Krishna prema. So bhakti is also of two types, Mishra bhakti and Suddha bhakti. Mishra bhakti is also of two types, Karma Mishra bhakti, Jnana Mishra bhakti. And there is Suddha bhakti. And Suddha bhakti also have three different levels, Sadhana bhakti, Bhava bhakti and Prema bhakti. So hope you remember all these points. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says, Anna Vilasita Sunyam Jnana Karmadi Anabhritam Anukulyana Krishna Nusilanam Bhaktir Uttama. This is the fundamental verse explaining Uttama Bhakti. Uttama Bhakti means Suddha Bhakti. And what is the definition of Bhakti? That is also very, very important thing to understand. So Uttama Bhakti is the process given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but there is, before understanding Uttama Bhakti, you should also know what is Bhakti. Sarva upadi vinirmuktam tatparatana nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. So in order to do bhakti, we have to give up designations. Sarva upadi, all designations. So how many designations we have? We can have. Tell me. Krishna is what? What is the one quality of Krishna? Krishna is unlimited. We also have some that quality. What is that? Unlimited desires. So Krishna is unlimited, Jiva is also unlimited. So Jiva is filled with unlimited desires. And to fulfill those desires, we get unlimited varieties of designations in this world. But that is not the qualification to start the process of bhakti. That is good for karma and jnana. But in order to enter into the world of bhakti, we have to change our dress. Right? So that dress of upadhis have to be given up. And what upadhi we should have? Jiver Swarupaya Krishna Nityadas. That upadhi has to be accepted. Then we will be eligible to enter in Bhakti kingdom. That is the message from this verse. Then Bhakti can be Mishra Bhakti, but Uttama Bhakti is the process by which we can attain love of Godhead. Mishra Bhakti cannot lead us to love of Godhead. If we do Karma Mishra Bhakti, we will go to higher planetary system. If we do Jnana Mishra Bhakti, we will attain liberation. But if you want love of Godhead, then the process is Suddha Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti. So what is the meaning of Uttama Bhakti? Anna Bhilasita Sunyam. We have to give up the desires, material desires. What are the two kinds of desires? Desire for bhukti and desire for mukti. So any desire other than the desire to please Krishna is material desire. And that should be given up in order to enter into the kingdom of Uttama Bhakti, which is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is the book on Uttama Bhakti. So Suddha Bhakti has three levels: Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti is also of two types. Those who have done Bhakti Shastri are familiar with all this? How many of you have done Bhakti Shastra here? Only few. What's going on? They are doing it now, okay. And people don't raise hand because I'll ask questions. Okay. So sadhana bhakti is of two types, Vaidhi bhakti and Raganuga bhakti. Then we have Bhava bhakti and Prema bhakti. Bhava bhakti is also two types. Bhava bhakti coming from Vaidhi and Bhava bhakti coming from Raganuga. Vaidhi bhavatya, Raganuga bhavatya. Then we have Prema bhakti. Prema bhakti is also two types, Mahatma Jnana Prema bhakti and Kevala Prema bhakti, which is also known as Braja Prema bhakti. So, you are okay? So many varieties. So variety is the mother of enjoyment. So Krishna is a supreme enjoyer, so he wants varieties. So I'll ask a question. You are asking so many questions, I should also reciprocate. So what is the difference between Vaidhi Bhakti, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti and Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti? Because there is a very common misunderstanding on these two terminologies. So, what is the difference between Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti? If you know, then tell. If you don't know, better not speculate. But speculation on bhakti is also wonderful. Okay. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti and Raganuga, what is the difference? Yes. Okay. That is the English word, but you have to explain. Mic, mein boliye.
Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is driven by rules and regulations. One doesn't want to do, but still they are doing it because it's the instruction that's given to them. So whereas the Raganuga Bhakti, they still do, but that's because of the pure love they have for the God, for Krishna. That's a difference.
Okay. Any other idea? Some new idea? New? Something new, then tell.
Here I was just saying that Raganuga is more spontaneous.
He said already.
Which they have come beyond the stage.
He said already, spontaneous and regulated. If something new, you can tell. Okay.
Maharaj.
Don't repeat, already spoken. Spontaneous and regulated is already spoken. Don't repeat what has been already spoken.
I never read these things, but...
If you don't never read, no need to... no need to say anything. Now hear first. Okay. So, Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti, you have to really clearly understand. It's very, very important subject matter for the Gauriya Vaishnavas. For others, no problem. For others, they only have Vaidhi Bhakti. They don't have Raganuga Bhakti. Gauriya Vaishnavas, they teach Raganuga Bhakti. So, Vaidhi Bhakti means when Bhakti is done based on Shraddha. Shraddha. Have you heard the word Shraddha? Faith. Faith in what? In the words of the scriptures and in the words of the spiritual master. When someone is doing bhakti because of the faith in the words of the scriptures and spiritual master, that is known as Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. And when someone is doing sadhana bhakti, because of he has developed a greed for Krishna, lobha, that is called Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti is not a love of Godhead. Somebody said, out of pure love. Raganuga Bhakti is not love, Prema Bhakti. There is no love. There is greed. There is a difference between greed and pure love. Pure love is very advanced stage. But Raganuga Bhakti is also pure, there is also love there, but that is not Prema Bhakti. That is also Sadhana Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti is also Sadhana Bhakti, Vaidhi Bhakti is also Sadhana. These are two varieties of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. So it's clear to you now? You know that you are understanding the difference? No. Then you have to understand what is Shraddha and Lobha, right? You have to know that. Yes. Raganuga Bhakti is based on Lobha, greed. You know greed, right? Everybody knows greedy. I am greedy. Greedy means very attractive. You become attracted by that. Greed. Shraddha means you have respect. That is the difference. So you are doing it, Vaidhi Bhakti means Bhakti out of duty. Because you have Shraddha in the instruction of scriptures and instruction of spiritual master. But you don't have attraction for that. My danda is not happy. I am telling something wrong, looks like. So greed is the motivation for Raganuga. And Shraddha is the motivation for Vaidhi. Two motivation. What is the example? Just like attending Mangalarti is the process of bhakti, sadhana bhakti, right or wrong? So we have to get up. Right? We have to get up at 4 o'clock, Prabhupada said so. That's why you get up. It's not that we are waiting for 4 o'clock. Rather, we think when it should be delayed, right? Why it is ringing now, alarm? It's too fast. So that's called Vaidhi. But when someone is attending Mangalarti without alarm clock, he is waiting for 4 o'clock to come. That is called Raganuga. When the example is that you want to give exam. I don't think people will wait for the exam. But they have to give exam because they have Shraddha in the exam. But who is fully prepared for the exam, he will wait for the exam. Right? That is the difference between Vaidhi Bhakti and Sadhana Bhakti. Another example of cricket. So something for the boys. How many of you played cricket? I'm not, you're playing now also, but how many played cricket in your life? Okay. So cricket is a very popular game in India. So when someone wants to learn cricket, what do you have to do? You have to find a coach and a coaching manual, book. Right? So he practices cricket based on these two. This is called Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Now, after some time, when he has become very matured cricketer, then he is given some video of some expert cricketer. And he learns or he practices seeing that expert cricketer. That is called Raganuga Bhakti. He does not have to wait or depend on the instruction of the coach and instruction of the book. He is following an expert cricketer. So Raganuga Bhakti means following in the footsteps of expert devotees of Vrindavan. You are so attracted by them, you don't have to wait or depend on the instruction of the Shastra or instruction of the spiritual master, because you have developed an intense greed for that devotee. So that is called Raganuga Bhakti. So Raganuga Bhakti means following in the footsteps of Ragatmika Bhaktas. Who are Ragatmika Bhaktas? The expert devotees of Vrindavan. So when someone gets attracted by them and renders devotional service in their footsteps, that is called Raganuga Bhakti. But that cannot be imitated. Some people imitate that. Unless and until our heart is free from anarthas, come to the level of Nishtha Ruchi, that spontaneous attraction for the Ragatmika Bhakta will not arise in our heart. And if you want to artificially do that, you become Sahajiyas and fall down from the process of devotional service. And some people do that artificially. You say, oh, I am following Lalita Sakhi. I am following in the footsteps of Suvala. Still, he is having filled with Kama in the heart. It's not going to work. Until and unless our heart is pure, that spontaneous attraction for the Brajavasis will not manifest in anyone's heart. But when it manifests, that is the beginning of Raganuga Bhakti. Just like a cricketer is attracted to a particular cricketer and plays cricket following in his footsteps. So it's clear now? That is not the topic, but still Bhakti is spoken. So that's very, very important. I'll take question after I finish this question. Finish this question of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So again, to recap, that Vaidhi Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, then both can go to Bhava Bhakti and both can go to Prema Bhakti, but destination will be different. When we have Raganuga Bhakti and Prema Bhakti, from that it will lead us to Goloka Vrindavan. And when we have Vaidhi Bhakti and leading to Prema, from that will lead us to Vaikuntha planets. So in order to enter into Goloka Vrindavan, we have to cultivate the mood of Raganuga Bhakti and get attracted to the Brajavasis. Then that will take us to Kevala Prema, and Kevala Prema will open the door of Goloka Vrindavan. Any question on this? Mataji, you raised hand. Mic is there, this side.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, I just wanted to clear in this. In Vaidhi Bhakti, as you mentioned, that we practice, you gave example of Mangal Arti. So there is a tendency that we may, like as you mentioned, of keeping alarm and all those things. But when, suppose we are in Yatra, we have this eagerness to go for the Mangal Arti. But when we are at home or in our locality, wherever, we may not have the tendency to attend that Mangal Arti. But when we are in Yatra or in Dham, we have the tendency to, we really want to go and attend that Mangal Arti. So we are eager to get up early and get ready and go for that Mangal Arti. So I just want to know the difference over here, because there is sometimes we have the tendency naturally coming, sometimes we are following in the regulations, rules and regulations.
But you are telling it's not regulation, you don't feel to go.
No, in the sense...
You said that when you are in your locality, you don't feel to go.
No,
but
no,
when you are a
no.
good association, you feel to go. So
Yeah.
you make it clear.
Yeah.
Raganuga Bhakti means you love to go.
Correct. But
Wherever you are, that is
Yeah.
called Raganuga.
Okay.
And Vaidhi means depends.
Maharaj, when there is a little tendency only when sometimes and the other times it is not there.
That is the symptom of Vaidhi Bhakti.
Okay.
That
So
is a
we have
proof that we don't have greed. When you are greedy, just like, not a good example, but which you can relate. If a boy falls in love with a girl, so it does not depend on locality or somewhere else. Wherever he will be mad to meet her. That is called Raganuga Bhakti. Do you understand? Somebody asked Prabhupada, what is the meaning of love? He said the attraction you have for opposite sex, so when that kind of attraction will be there for Krishna, that is love of Godhead. Then that devotee said, thank you, Prabhupada, very clear. Why we are having so many questions? Because we don't have love of Godhead. That is the proof, na? So when someone falls in love, any question in this world? No question. All questions are answered. So in the same way, because we don't have love, that's why you have to go through this process. So I don't know, your question was answered, or I understood your question, or you could frame your question properly or not. You have time if you are still free to frame your question properly.
No, I meant to say was by doing the practice, we come to the level of Raganuga Bhakti.
No, Raganuga Bhakti itself is a practice.
Okay.
But practice, there is a motivation. Why you practice? Raganuga is not a perfection. Prema is perfection. But it's advanced level of practice. That's why I said that the batsman practicing hearing from the coach and batsman practicing seeing the practice of another perfect batsman. That's the difference. Motivation is different.
Thank you, Maharaj. Clear.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. So you told, so can we say motivation for Raga Ananda Bhakti, we should be in state of Ruchi?
Acharyas are telling like that, unless you come to that level, you will not have that kind of attraction. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sufficient level of anartha nibriti has to be there.
Then what's the difference between Loba and Laulyam?
Huh?
Loba and Laulyam, you told...
Love is Loba, same.
Yeah, same.
Greed. Yeah. Anything more? Vaidhi Raganuga clear to all of you? Next time I'll ask question also, okay? And definitely you'll forget.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, you told about greed and love, the difference, but I'm not...
I've explained greed and faith, right? Shraddha and
No,
lova.
that is okay, but here when you said the motivation here...
Lova.
Loba. So, how it is, what is the degree of level between love and greed?
Love is completely intensified lova. High level of lova is called prema. When lova matures and becomes very intense, that is called prema. So lova aspect is also there in prema bhakti, lova also is there in bhava, lova is also there in raganuga, but there is intensity difference.
So this is the beginning of getting into...
When you are in raganuga bhakti, it's a matter of time, you will attain love of Godhead, very quick.
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you.
Any other question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So can Raganuga Bhakti be cultivated through Vaidhi Bhakti?
No.
It can never be cultivated. Means while doing Vaidhi Bhakti, is it at some
level,
point of time we can reach to Raganuga Bhakti? Is it possible?
Yeah, that is the process. Unless it's not necessary that everybody will attain Raganuga Bhakti. From Vaidhi Bhakti you can get to Bhava and Prema. That's not a problem. We think it's very perfect situation. But Raganuga is a special wing of Bhakti which will take us to Goloka Vrindavan.
So through Vaidhi Bhakti we cannot reach up to Golok Vrindavan?
No.
Never.
Vaidhi Bhakti will take us to Bhava and Prema, that will take us to Vaikuntha.
Vaikuntha. Yes. Thank you, Maharaj.
That is Goloka lane, that is Vaikuntha lane. You have to choose your lane. So, yes, this side.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So Maharaj, when we are talking about Vaidhi Bhakti, then from there then it has to move to Raganuga. So can we say that Dasya Bhav is being diminished or it gets eliminated at that
No,
stage?
no, it's Braja Bhav. But in Vrindavan there are also servants, but in Braja Bhav, primarily Sakhya, Vasalya and Madhurya.
Yes, Maharaj.
So this mood will manifest in the level of Raganuga Bhakti.
Maharaj, if I can say, because see, I've also read that the Dasya Bhav is completely absent in
No,
Goloka.
Dasya Bhav is there in every level. Dasya is the integral part. Everybody is a servant of Krishna. So in Dasya, only Dasya is there. In Sakhya, Sakha and Dasya is there.
Okay.
In Vasalya, Sakha and Dasya are there. In Madhurya, all four are there. That's why Madhurya is topmost.
So the difference between, in the Vaikuntha planets, from Goloka, I mean, I read that it said that there is no Dasya Bhav there, but in the other...
there are servants also, Raktak, there are so many servants of Krishna is also there in that mood of servitorship. But that is not the main feature of Golok. Main feature of Golok is Sakhya, Vasalya and Madhurya. And primarily Madhurya. That's why it's called Madhurya Dham. And Vaikuntha is known as Aishwarya Dham. Aishwarya means master and servant.
Master and servant.
And Madhurya means lover and beloved.
Yes.
That is the primary feature of Vrindavan.
Okay. So that, the earlier slide where that route was there, which said that from Vaidhi, then if it goes to Bhava, then it will go to Vaikuntha. And then the other Raganuga, if it comes or it gets converted to Raganuga and then moves forward to Bhava, then it leads to Goloka, technically. So, which means that then the aspect of Dasya gets modified a little bit, where here it will remain.
No, motivation
Dasya.
changes.
There is no spontaneity in the Dasya of on the other side, the Vaidhi Bhakti, whereas there is spontaneity.
No, spontaneity is there.
Okay.
Prema means also you have the spontaneous attraction for the Lord, but in Dasya Bhav.
Okay.
This is totally different. Why you are attracted to Lord? Because you are attracted by the opulence of the Lord. Brajabasis are not attracted because Krishna is God. They are attracted by the sweetness of Krishna. There are all different varieties. It's not that very straightforward. So many varieties are there. But the main difference is that attraction is opulence in Vaikuntha. And attraction in Vrindavan is sweetness. Just like home and office. Vaikuntha is office of the God and Vrindavan is the home of God. That's it. You may be a CEO in your company, but when you come home, for your mother, you are the son. Who cares? You are a CEO. That may be in your company. Doesn't matter for me. Very simple to understand.
Yes. And in both places, Dasya is there, but then here it is different, there it is different.
So what?
The bhava of Dasya, I can see, I mean, like you are saying, Maharaj, it is there in both the instances, but here predominance of Madhuri, I mean, of Vatsalya is there, whereas in other places...
No, Aishwarya again is not there
in
Golok Vrindavan. The Sakhas are serving Krishna not because they think that Krishna is God. They are serving Krishna because they are his friends. That is the difference.
Okay.
The whole flavor is different.
Thank you, Maharaj.
One is family, one is office.
Hare Krishna.
Both are needed.
Yeah. I need a long way to go to understand, but I think that's a good insight. Thank you.
This side.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Wait.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I'm a bit confused, so can you help
Confused?
me out? Yes.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yes, when you explained to Mataji, you told after this Vaidhi, then Raganuga, Bhava, Prema, and you told that's the Vaikuntha lane, the Goloka lane is different. Like, according
Raganuga is the Goloka lane, Vaidhi is Vaikuntha lane.
Raganuga, from this stage also?
No. There are two levels, two stages, not two stages, two variety. Sadhana has two variety, Vaidhi sadhana, Raganuga sadhana. That is, Vaidhi is a lane to Vaikuntha. And Raganuga Bhakti is a lane to Golok Vrindavan.
So,
very
following
simple.
the same thing, Raganuga, Bhava, then from that Bhava stage and Prema, and that's the Goloka. Thank you.
For going to Vaikuntha or going to Golok Vrindavan, you have to have sadhana, bhava and prema. That's the same. but only flavor is different. It's not that you don't have prema, you enter into Vaikuntha. It's not like that. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
Dandavat Pranam. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Antakalescha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. And anybody remembers me at the time of death, he gets my bhava. And is that bhava related to achieving the Golak Vrindavan and Vaikuntha Dham so far?
It's called entering into the spiritual world. Golaka Vrindavan is not spoken in any shastra. It's a very secret matter. Mahaprabhu opens that secret. When we talk about spiritual world means Vaikuntha planet. Raganuga Bhakti is spoken by Mahaprabhu and Gauriya Vaishnavacharyas, which are hidden to the people in general. Krishna means not only Krishna in Vrindavan. Krishna means Krishna in Vrindavan, Krishna is Vaikuntha, Krishna in Dwarka, Krishna in Mathura. Krishna doesn't mean only Samsundar Krishna.
So when you specifically remember Krishna in different planet, different level, accordingly we get his bhava, right, Prabhu?
Definitely. You have to know what you will remember, whom you love. So you cannot love somebody, don't know who is he. I love Krishna. Which Krishna?
Okay. Got it.
Understand?
Yeah, I understood. Thank you.
There's general understanding of Krishna, then specific understanding of Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
Anything else? Wow. Very interesting topic looks like.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, why not? Small, big, everything will be.
Maharaj, in the spiritual world, is there male and female, or Krishna is the only male and rest are all females, rest are all enjoyed?
No. All bodies are there. Gopas, gopis, fathers, mothers, all varieties are there. The bhava is different. Male, female bhava. Yes, Mike. Haribol.
Maharaj ji, it's a very, I don't know how to ask, but now that you mentioned about Krishna, so when we, let's say I like two deities in Vrindavan, one is Shyam Sundar ji and the other one is Radharaman. So let's say, if I'm dying, I have to think about only one deity, or can I think, or can, why is this,
Love cannot be explained by philosophy.
Yeah.
You have to be attracted by some particular form.
Like everybody will say, Jai Bake Bihari Lal, Jai
It's up
Radha
to them.
Vallabh.
I do.
But
Bake
for
Bihari
me-
Lal, any Lal, no problem.
Yeah.
We cannot be attracted to multiple people. You can have information for many people, but attraction generally happens to a particular person.
So two deities is...
Just like you can have respect for many male, but you should follow your husband.
But ultimately
That's-
it is Krishna only, right?
Now Krishna, who is Krishna? Krishna is not limited. Krishna is unlimited. In Vrindavan also Krishna is served in many forms.
But these are not Shyam Sundar ji, but Radharaman ji, Radha Vallabh ji, Bake Bihari ji.
These are the different names given according to Leela of Krishna.
Yeah. Okay.
There is a tattva of Krishna also, that you have to understand that tattva. So there are all varieties available. Okay? But just like when you study in the school, you study all the subjects. Then when you go to little higher level, you choose science, arts, commerce. Then you can go to a particular subject. Then you can go to a particular topic. When you do PhD, somebody doesn't do, I am doing PhD in science. You don't say like that. You understand? So attraction for Krishna is a PhD topic. You have to be focused. Okay, love of Godhead is PhD. Okay? And don't worry about that, because that will happen in the heart, when heart will be cleansed. It's not a theoretical thing that you have to calculate. Okay, this, okay, that. It's not going to happen like that. Now our focus should be to clean our heart. Sadhaka's role is to clean the heart. then other things will start manifesting. But the problem is that we are thinking so much about prema, but we are at the level of sadhana. So you have to focus on sadhana bhakti. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Very, very important. But how can I answer?
It's perfectly normal for a woman to be attracted to a man. How can a man be attracted to a man is my question to you, sir.
This man can be attracted to a man. Yes. Are you not attracted to your son? Are you not attracted to your friend? Are you not attracted to your father?
No, I am performing duties. I am not attracted.
That's problem for you.
You tell me how to get attracted,
So
man
when
to get it.
When you have love, you will be attracted.
No, that's what, how to develop love between man to man.
Love doesn't mean
Because
man to man, man to woman. That is the material consideration of the body. In this world also, some people are very much attracted. But we are talking about sexual division. It has nothing to do with love. Attraction does not depend on gender. This is a material understanding. I am very amazed to hear that father does not love his son. Very interesting. Some father is mad for their son, right? Okay, next.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Okay, this side.
One of the Mataji who is attending your class through Zoom, she wanted to ask some question. Can I
Okay,
ask
how do you know that?
She has sent message.
Okay. Yeah, somebody should address the Zoom questions. Who is doing that? The technical team should do that. But you don't know, she knows. Okay, no problem. Okay.
The Alvas also sometimes had Vatsalya and Madhurya Bhava for Perumal.
Huh?
Alvars. Sometimes had Vatsalya and Madhurya Bhava for Perumal. Do they follow the standards of Raganuga Bhakti?
I don't know the details of their sadhana practice, but Raganuga Bhakti means Vrindavan. It's not related to Vaikuntha. That is the main understanding. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. This extension to the Mataji's question. Sanatana Goswami recommended this 3 level of services, particularly to Madan Mohan, Govinda Dev and Gopinath. And that is to subdue the stupid thoughts and mental speculation for Madan Mohan, and then to 1-2 level to Govinda Dev, and final level to get the Prema Bhakti to Gopinath. Similarly, do you also require to remember in the different level to move from sadhana bhakti to raganuga and then to prema bhakti?
Madan Mohan represents Sambandha.
Sambandha, Avideya and Prayojana.
Govinda represents Avideya. Gopinath represents Prayojana. So what is Sambandha? Sambandha is understanding the relationship with the Lord. That is called Sambandha Gyan. Avideya means performing sadhana bhakti. And Prayojan means attaining love of Godhead. Love of Godhead is the Prayojan. So this is the understanding of Madan Mohan, Govinda and Gopinath.
So during this time, that means during our time of sadhana, we always in the combination of these 3 things.
During your sadhana, you have to focus on your sadhana.
Okay. But how can I think of sadhana without developing the relationship, Maharaj?
You have to develop a relationship that is called general relationship.
No, with Krishna.
That we are the servant of Krishna.
Right.
That is called sadhana bhakti. Jive Sarupay Krishna Nitya Das. But if you want to develop a specific relationship, then you have to be purified. Artificially trying to understand that I am friend of Krishna, I am father of Krishna, I am mother of Krishna, that is called sahajiya. So that will manifest when you attain the level of asakti. And when bhava will start manifesting, then you can start identifying what kind of relationship you have with your Supreme Lord.
So in that state, that means I'll require the benediction of Madan Mohan, Govinda Dev and Gopinath simultaneously then. Is my understanding correct, Maharaj?
No, no, no. You are mixing things. Just like Madan Mohan will make you understand your sambandha. Govinda will inspire you to do sadhana bhakti. And Gopinath is the inspiration of prema bhakti. This is the way Acharyas have explained. Don't mix things. This is one another type, another thing. This is another way of understanding things. You don't have to connect everything. That is the material problem.
That means when I am in sadhana, that means I should think about Govinda Dev. When I'm developing relationship, I'll think about Madan Mohan. And when I am in the level of...
No. Again, you are trying to connect sadhana bhakti with all this. This is not the way to understand. Sadhana bhakti means you have to focus on your sadhana. Why you are mixing this sambandha with your prayojan with sadhana bhakti? I am not able to understand. Why you have to connect everything with everything? It's not possible.
These are all connected, right?
You should explain. I don't know.
I'm having a doubt, Maharaj.
What doubt you have?
That means unless we develop, how can I develop sadhana without developing relationship? That's the question.
Relationship is a
With
process.
Krishna. Yeah, let's say Krishna is the person, supreme person, and for whom I'm doing sadhana. And then only I'll get elevated to that level, whether I'd get prema or not, based on my sadhana.
Sadhana is the process to attain Krishna. The relationship you know, that is called knowledge. And when that knowledge will be realized, when do you do sadhana bhakti. So relationship will be established properly when you do sadhana bhakti. One thing is, I know that I am the servant of Krishna. How will you realize that? The process is sadhana bhakti. That's the process. And that relationship will become intensified when you develop love of God.
Got the point, Maharaj. Got the point, but I still have doubt. I'll connect separately with you.
Okay. Any other question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, my question is, practically we are all in the sadhana process, and in the sadhana process, the stage of anartha nivritti, that's a long, slow process. So Maharaj, that it's a long process. So at the same time, we have been told that so one lifetime, let's go back home, back to God, and finish off our business in this material world. So what is the hope? And will it take multiple lifetimes? And prema is quite far actually.
So this is $1 million question. How long it will take? Right? How long it will take? 1 lifetime, 2 lifetimes, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. What do you think? What do you think? How long it will take?
It cannot be, it's not I think it will take a long time.
Really? You think? It's not everybody thinks. So how long it will take? So I will tell you a story. I don't know I told this story here or not. I'm telling everywhere. How long it will take? It's $1 million question. So there is a man who used to stay in a village. And he did not go out of his village. But one day he got a job. For that he had to go out of the village. And how to go? The process he understood that he has to catch a train. And he doesn't know also where is the train station. He heard that is out of the village. Near the village the train station is located. So he left his home to catch the train. So while he was walking, on the way he saw a farmer. And he thought maybe he knows how far is the train station and how long it will take from here to the train station. He asked the question to the farmer, how long it will take from here to go to the train station? Farmer did not answer. He thought that he was not loud enough. So he asked the question louder. How long it will take to go to the train station? Still not. Then he thought maybe he has some hearing problem. So he was much more louder, asking the same question. Still no answer. He thought he has problem everywhere, looks like. Hearing problem and other problems also there. So he thought if I spend time with him, then I may miss the train. So he started running. So when he started running, the farmer said, it will take 15 minutes. Then that man was shocked and also surprised that I was shouting and screaming, asking the question. You did not answer. But as soon as I started running, you are telling 15 minutes. Why? He said, it is very simple. When you asked me the question, I did not know your speed. So now you are running. If you run in this speed, it will take 15 minutes. So how long it will take to go to Golok Vrindavan? 15 minutes. Depends on your speed, right? So now another question is not complete. So if those who drive car, you know, if you want to increase the speed of your car, what do you have to do? You have to? But if the car is in neutral gear, and your foot high speed, what will happen? Only sound and smoke will come out, right? Why? This is called car is in neutral gear. So if our car of devotional service is in neutral gear, what to talk about reaching the destination? It will not move. And that is called attachment. So as long as we have material attachment, our car of devotional service is in neutral gear. And more you put on the speed, more sound will come, but your car will not move. That's why we have to be free from the material attachment. That is called anartha nivriti. So car of devotional service really moves when you attain the level of Nishtha Bhakti. Before that is only sound. Okay? So then speed. First gear, second gear, third gear. What is the first gear? Nishtha. Second gear, Ruchi. Then third gear, Asakti. Fourth gear, Bhava. Fifth gear, Prema. Haribol. But from first gear to fifth gear, takes time? Not so much time. That is the process. Hare Krishna. Hope it is clear. How long it will take, you decide. So now go to the next question of Mahaprabhu, because you are asking so many wonderful questions, but we have to hear Mahaprabhu's question also. Only 15 minutes is there. So there are so many questions, but we only covered 3 questions till now. Okay. Still, we have done something. The most painful thing. Dukkha madhya kon dukkha hai gurutara. Krishna bhakta viraha vina dukkha nahi dekhi para. Translation. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, of all kinds of distress, what is the most painful? Sri Ramananda Rai replied, apart from separation from the devotee of Krishna, I know of no unbearable unhappiness. This is the answer from the top person. That's why I have given, everything is, answer is very high class, right? Top. That's why I have chosen the title, Pinnacle of Transcendence. The question is high class and answer is also high class. Why it is high class? Because Mahaprabhu is high class and Ramananda Rai is also high class. And those who hear, they are also high class. Why you are hearing? Because you are also high class. Haribol. Then the song, all of you know, the mood of the acharyas, how they feel being separated from the devotees and Lord. Jyanila Premadhana Karuna Pachur. I generally analyze in detail, but we don't have time. I go to the fourth one. Pashane kutibo matha onole poshibo, Gaurango guner nidhi kotha gele pavo. Sesabo sangire sange je koilo bilas, se sango na paiya khande narottama das. So crying is very, very important principle of spiritual life. And that is also the integral part of material life. Right or wrong? We cannot be away from crying. Right or wrong? We have to cry. So here Ramananda Rai is teaching that we should cry in separation from who? From the devotees. So our journey in this material world also begins with crying. When you take birth, we laugh or cry? If you don't cry, doctor says some problem. Please cry. Crying is normal. If you don't cry, it's abnormal. Abnormal baby. Why? He or she is not crying. So mother who is giving birth, she is crying. Who is taking birth, he is also crying. And others are celebrating happy birthday. Very unique world we live in. Then we die, people cry. Then during the journey, I don't have to explain, you have to cry anyway, right? Crying. So that's why we cannot be separated from crying. That intelligence is, we have to spiritualize that crying. That's why Prabhupada said, I have established this International Society for Krishna Consciousness to teach people how to cry for Krishna. Because that is the perfection of life. And that is the expression of love. That is the expression of separation. Love in separation. There is love in union and there is love in separation. Mahaprabhu has come to teach us love in separation. Vipralambha. Because that is the mood of the gopis of Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu came to teach that love. And he also came to cry. Because Radharani was crying, so Krishna wanted to experience what kind of experience Radharani was going through while crying for him. That's why he came to cry. So Mahaprabhu's main reason of advent in this material world is to cry for Krishna. And he exactly did that. While in the last years of his material pastime in Gambhira and Jagannath Puri, Mahaprabhu was crying for Krishna. But that is the crying of the soul, it's not an external cry. So when Krishna left Vrindavan, Krishna said he will come back, right? But he didn't come back. For years, he said, I have some work in Mathura, I'll come back. Because gopis are not allowing him to go. So he managed. He said, he'll come back. He wanted to come back also. But there are some reasons why he didn't come back. Then, for many years, Krishna was away from Vrindavan. But for them, a moment is like a juga, right? Jugaitang nimesena chakshusha prabdisaitam sunnaitang jagat sarvang govinda vidahename. That is the mood of vipralambha, intensity of love. So what is the intensity? One moment of separation is like a juga, and one juga of union is like a moment. That is the intensity of love of the Vrajavasis. And one moment is like a juga, and Krishna is away for years. So they thought, what is the use of our lives? We should give up our lives. We should all die. But they're thinking, if we die and Krishna comes back, then he'll be very unhappy. But the purpose of Gopi's existence is to make Krishna happy. That's why they could not die. So the principle is that the Gopis could not live and Gopis could not die. What they could do? They could only cry. That is the movement. So Mahaprabhu has taught us how to cry. Prabhupada said you should cry. Even if you are not able to cry, then you should cry in front of the Lord that my heart is so hard that I am not able to cry. And in that mood you should cry. That I am not able to cry. So crying has to start. But it is not artificial cry, external cry. Then you will become sahajiyas. But when genuinely you can cry for Krishna, that is our perfection of life. So Gopis did that, Mahaprabhu did that, our Acharyas did that, and Narottam Das Thakur is also telling. In separation, he is telling what? Se sab sangira sange je koila vilas, se sango na paiya kande Narottama Das. We have to cry. Prabhupada was crying in front of Rupa Goswami, at the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami in Radha Damodar, that my Guru has given such an instruction. I am unqualified to do that. Please empower me so that I can fulfill the desire of my spiritual master. Every night he used to sweep the courtyard of Rupa Goswami Samadhi and he used to cry. That is the process. If you want to invite Krishna in your life, if you want Krishna to appear in your life, if we want Krishna to appear in our lives, then we have to cry for it. That is the price. When we cry, Krishna will definitely appear in our life. That's why that is the greatest unhappiness. But that unhappiness is the spiritual bliss. This is not material unhappiness. This is called spiritual unhappiness. So, time is up? No, we have the greatest liberated person. Mukta madhye kon jeev mukta kori mani Krishna prem jar sei mukta siramani. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then inquired, out of all liberated person, who should be accepted as the greatest? Ramananda Rai replied, he who has love for Krishna has attained the topmost liberation. Mukta. There are 5 kinds of mukti, right? Sayujya mukti, Salakya mukti, Sarupa mukti, then Samippa mukti, then Shasti mukti. But love of Godhead is topmost mukti. Because love of Godhead does not care for liberation, even Vaikuntha liberation. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, Salakya, Shasti, Samippa, Saripya or Ekatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what is real mukti? The merging of the living entity along with his conditioned living tendency, when the mystic lying down to the Mahavishnu is called the winding up of the cosmic manifestation. Liberation is the permanent situation of the form of the living entity after he gives up the changeable gross and subtle material bodies. So mukti means sarupena vyavasthita. When we situate ourselves in our eternal constitutional position, jiver sarupay Krishna nitya das, that is called real mukti. Topmost song. Gana madhye kon gan jivera nitya dharma, jivera nija dharma. Radha Krishna prem keli ei giter marma. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next asked Ramananda Rai, among many songs, which song is to be considered the actual religion of the living entity? Ramananda Rai replied, that song describing the loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna is superior to all other songs. So all of you know, Brahma Samhita explains, every word in Golok Vrindavan is a song. You don't have to learn. Whatever comes out from Krishna, whatever comes out from the pure devotees, that becomes a song. Bhagavad Gita, song of the Lord. Everything is a song. But here, in this material world, everything is not a song, right? And Krishna says the gali or the scolding of the gopis are the sweetest song Krishna can hear. Even the scolding of the gopis are the dearmost song of Krishna. When the Lord assumes a human-like body to show mercy to his devotees, he engages in such pastimes as will attract those who hear about them to become dedicated to him. That is the purpose of Krishna's pastime, to attract the conditioned souls, attract the devotees by his wonderful pastimes. The song for this age of Kali is Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We should sing this song 24 hours a day. Prabhupada said, only business a devotee has. Prabhupada's right, because he's writing from his level. He's telling the only thing a devotee is supposed to do is chant Hare Krishna and hear Srimad Bhagavatam 24 hours a day. And when we read that, depending on our level, we have different levels of heart attack, right? How it is possible? 24 hours. Hearing 1 hour is a difficult thing. But today we did good, almost 3 hours. So thank you so much. And you are all awake. That is very interesting thing. So keeping awake in Krishna Katha is very, very difficult. Some people say, oh, I am chanting Hare Krishna. The tears are not flowing from my eyes. When that day will come? Somebody asked, no? How long it will take? But first is that is the perfection. But before that, we have to start the journey. What is the journey? Beginning of the journey? Stay awake. Keeping the eyelids open during chanting. That is the first qualification. And I was hearing a very interesting example. Night security guard. The employer pays his salary. The one thing he must do, stay awake. Whether you are doing anything or not, that's not an important consideration. You should be awake. In the same way, Krishna will be very pleased when a sadhaka stays awake while chanting his holy name. Ashru will come later on. First, we have to keep our eyes open. So keeping the eyes open is very, very important principle. So that's the symptom of a good sadhaka, that we have to be very, very attentive while we chant and hear the names and the pastimes of Krishna. And that is the best song which we can sing. That's why you should always chant the holy name of the Lord and always hear the glories of Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam. And these are the two most powerful means to attain perfection in our spiritual journey in this age of Kali. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and chanting the holy name of the Lord. That's what our acharyas did, and that's the thing we should do in order to attain perfection. There is no need of any other thing, because that is enough for our perfection. So, time is almost up. So, there are a few more questions. We covered up to 251. There are a few more, up to 257. So maybe in the future we'll try to cover it. But we have done well. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna. You can have some question for 5 minutes before you end up. Yes. So there is a lunch prasadam for all of you, looks like. Huh? It was supposed to be at 12 o'clock, but now it is at 1 o'clock. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. In this previous slide, we read that absence of, means being far from a devotee is the highest, that's the highest separation from the devotee is the, what is the greatest pain. That means we have to keep a devotee to such a high epitome. That's what we understand from this verse.
Yeah, you can repeat? Can you repeat?
The greatest pain is to absence from or separation from devotees. Another way to understand is that we have to keep a devotee in such a high epitome, in the be in the presence or value them. What I would, my question is, in view of while doing services, I have observed some seniors do not even want to share information about them in the kind of service I am having, about them to other devotees. So that means I am not able to understand that mood when we do that. We are we undermining other devotees, that they will misuse our information? So that means we are not considering devotees on the same as required.
You are talking about sharing. That senior devotee is not sharing what kind of service he is doing, that's your point?
Or any information. Means, to be frank, I am doing this matrimonial service.
That's okay, that's practical question.
Yeah.
So managerial question. So managerial question should be addressed in the management forum. This is a Krishna Katha forum, we should discuss Krishna Katha. That's a practical issue that should be handled practically. And it's a specific issue, and I am not the manager of this temple. And I am not supposed to answer that question because it's a practical, personal question. But if you can generalize it in a spiritual way, then I can answer in that spirit.
No, generally, some devotees, they share their information.
It's a very generic statement. So how much information to be shared, how much not to be shared, is very relative. It's not that everything should be shared with everybody. Certain things have to be kept confidential also. What to be kept confidential, what to be not. It's all managerial aspect. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Acharya says we should not share the confidential aspect of bhajan to anyone. So confidentiality has to be maintained. So what kind of relationship I have with my Lord, he's not going to share. His wife is not supposed to share what kind of relationship she has with her husband. Then what kind of lady she is. So relationship with the Lord and devotee is very confidential. How it can be shared? It can be shared with those who are very, very confidential. It cannot be shared in public. And Prabhupada said, the confidential pastime of Radha and Krishna should not be discussed in public. Mahaprabhu did not discuss about this high level of Krishna consciousness with anybody, except Rai Ramananda and Sarvada Mother. So confidentiality is the integral part of our sadhana and also spiritual life. There is a higher purpose for that. Just like if someone comes and tells something in confidence, that should be kept confidential. But problem is that he comes in confidence and whole world knows. That's why people don't have trust. Trust building will happen when confidentiality is maintained. Everything is public nowadays. That's why there is no relationship. Everything is public. Okay? Next. Huh? Wow, they're doing good job now. Okay, we should answer the online question also.
Yeah.
How many are there online?
Oh, this is a question. One comment maybe. Okay. When devotee is crying in ICU, he is not wearing a tulasi mala even though he attends moksha. Is it a question or a comment?
Somebody can repeat. Give it to someone who can repeat.
When a devotee is dying in ICU, he is not wearing tulsi mala even though he attends moksha.
How does he know that? That in ICU he is attaining moksha?
Can without tulsi mala he attend moksha, I think that is.
Wearing kanthi mala helps you to remember Krishna, but wearing tulsi mala is not the only qualification that you will attain perfection, and somehow kanthi mala is not there, you will not attain perfection. This is all superficial, external understanding of Krishna consciousness. Who can come back to Godhead? Who attain love of Godhead. Whether he is dying in ICU or ECU or ICCU, it doesn't matter. Krishna Prabhupada said, a devotee who has attained love of Godhead, wherever he dies, he will attain perfection. Krishna consciousness is the price, not the place. Anything else? Love of Godhead. Who has love of Godhead? That is the only sign that he is going back home back to Godhead. There is no other sign. No, it's not a measure. This is the only qualification. There is no other qualification. Who has attained love of Godhead is eligible to enter into the spiritual world. Prema Bhakti. There are different symptoms of Prema Bhakti. That is another topic.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the wonderful session. We hear that Krishna never leaves Vrindavana, but at the same time, we also hear that the gopis and Srimati Radha, all the Vrajavasis are crying for Krishna in separation. How do we reconcile this?
This is Bhauma Leela. In Bhauma Leela, Krishna appeared in two places. He appeared as the son of Devaki and he also appeared as son of Jasoda. So that is not explained in Bhagavatam, but that is explained by our acharyas. So Vrindavan Krishna cannot appear in Mathura. And Mathura Krishna will not come into Vrindavan, and Vrindavan Krishna will not go to Mathura. So that is the understanding. So when Krishna went out of Vrindavan, that is not Vrindavan Krishna, that is Vasudeva Krishna. That shift took place in the water of Jamuna. When Akrura came, so that time change of shift happened, okay? So Vrindavan Krishna stayed back and his expansion, Vasudeva Krishna, went out of Vrindavan.
Then the whole aspect of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that crying in separation.
And you may say then, if he was in Vrindavan, then how they are feeling separation? This is the arrangement of Yogamaya. Although Krishna was there, but he made arrangement that gopis and Gojavasis would think that Krishna is not there. Sometimes he used to come, but they used to think this is dream.
So this is completely on the Bhauma Vrindavana. Hare Krishna.
More questions?
Maharaj,
Prasad is hot time, Prabhu, Swami Prakash Prabhu. Ready? As soon as it is ready, I will be also ready to finish it. Okay.
Maharaj, beg your pardon in the ignorance of my question, but the thing is, we just understood that Ramananda Rai's reply to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the greatest grief is the separation from devotees. And that is that Vipralambha Bhava which we need to practice, right? But the other thing is, we are always told to stay in the association of devotees. So how would you practice Vipralambha Bhava if you are in the association of devotees?
Yeah, very interesting question. You are very intelligent. So it's called bhav. And separation also has different levels. So this is not the topic here, that's why I'm not answering. If you read different levels of separation, there's one level of one kind of separation that the lover and beloved are there next to each other, still they are feeling separation. Okay? That is called one type of separation. It's called Prem Vaichitya. That happened in Prem Sarovar. In Prem Sarovar in Braj, Krishna and Radharani were there, but the whole pastime is there. But they started thinking that they are not there with them. And they started crying, and from that tears, one kunda, Prem Sarovar, manifested. So that is one kind of separation also. But another kind of separation is also that when devotees are separated, just like they leave their body in this material world. So Narottam Das Thakur is singing because of that separation. Spiritually they are there, but they are not available here for their association. So that is the greatest pain a devotee experiences when they don't have that association. Okay? That intensifies our devotee association. We appreciate more the importance of association of devotees. Okay?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Online? Okay.
His Grace Sundarup Sham Prabhu. Hare Krishna Maharaj, we see many devotees reading and quoting from various spiritual books outside of Srila Prabhupada books. What is your recommendation for us? Do we read Srila Prabhupada books again and again? Or we need to extend our reading other books also?
So Prabhupada writes in his books also that serious students of Srimad Bhagavatam can consult the commentaries of the previous acharyas. So, it is always recommended for the serious students to refer. One is textbook, one is reference book. So we should understand that Prabhupada's books are the textbooks of our society. But we can refer other books to make our understanding more stronger and more clearer by referring to other acharyas' commentaries. That is written by Prabhupada himself. Prabhupada also recommended what kind of books we should read. So it's very, very clear. But we have to be very thorough in Prabhupada's books first. But the problem is that without reading Prabhupada's books, we jump into Ujjala Nilmani and Prema, Krama Sandarbha, and all these things. Then what happens? Indigestion. That is the problem. So you should have proper understanding of Prabhupada's books. Then to make that understanding more clearer, we can definitely refer other books to make our understanding more clear. Okay? Is that okay with him? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, you were telling about crying for Krishna. So as a sadhakas, when we try to approach crying, it doesn't happen, Maharaj. So most of the time...
That's why you should cry.
But
that when I will become eligible to cry for you, that's called sadhaka crying.
Okay.
There is siddha crying and sadhaka crying. Different levels of crying. Why we should cry? Because we are not able to cry.
But
then slowly, you will be able to cry.
Yes, Maharaj. But sometimes when we cry, we think about the needs of the requirements of life, and that may be a reason to cry.
Yeah,
but cry for Krishna...
that you don't have to try. For material things, you don't have to try. You have to cry. But for Krishna, you have to try. Okay, sorry. Continue.
So, that crying for Krishna, crying for Krishna is not happening naturally, Maharaj.
Yeah. Now, naturally will happen when you attain love of Godhead. Natural thing will happen when heart will be pure. But for sadhaka, you have to practice. So that's why I told different levels of crying. Just like Bhakti one sannyasi of ISKCON said, you fake it till you make it.
Yes, sir.
But you have to be sincere. Process is very powerful. When you practice it, then natural thing will come.
So is there any practical tips or something like...
There is no practical tips. This is all... we always want some practical managerial tips. Just like it is very nicely explained. If you cook for some time, you will become expert cook. Yeah. If you sing for some time, you will become expert singer. If you manage for some time, you will become expert manager. But there is no formula that by chanting for some time, you will become expert chanter. It's a whole different ball game. So crying for Krishna is not a mechanical process. There is no formula for that. It's a sincerity of the heart. That has to be cultivated sincerely. Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
That's why you should read the songs of the previous acharyas. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's crying. Osura sakol pailo charan vinada thakila basi. He says that all the Osuras got the shelter of your lotus feet. But I am unfortunate, Bhaktivinoda is and crying. Gopinath, ami ki doshe doshi. What's my fault? Osuras are getting lotus feet. So I am worse than Osura looks like. So in that way, we have to express our feelings. Acharyas have taught us how to cry for Krishna. You don't have to invent the ways. The bhajans of the previous acharyas are the crying for the Lord. There's specific types of bhajan our acharyas have composed. This is the crying for the Lord. Lalasamai kirtan. So you have to sing those, try to understand their meanings and try to cultivate that kind of mood. That is called sadhana bhakti. Okay? So we'll end here now. Thank you so much for your wonderful questions. And hope you like the questions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and hope you like the answer of Ramananda Rai. And hope you did not like my explanations. So please forgive me for my bogus explanations, but it will be a real benefit by hearing the questions and answers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare.
So thank you so much, Maharaj. Let us all express our gratitude, and if you feel that we need to cover the other remaining questions also, let us all loudly chant once Hare Krishna Mahamantra and express our gratitude for this wonderful session. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I just want to quickly announce our